Chapter 4195. An expert came to Luoxia City. As soon as this expert arrived, he immediately went to look for the Luoxia City Lord. The Luoxia City Lord had been on tenterhooks for the past few days. After all, the mysterious expert had left a deep and indelible impression on him. Who knew if that expert would come back? As a result, the Luoxia City Lord couldn't eat or sleep well these few days. His eyes were bloodshot. When he saw the confidant of the Tianyun clan master, Ling Yun heaved a sigh of relief. He immediately told him everything he knew. "I've already arranged for people to secretly follow him. That person definitely won't expect it. Although he's strong, my people are watching from afar and know his general location. That person seems to be acquainted with the people from Pill Cauldron Gate. He's already gone up there." The Luoxia City Lord was cunning. He knew that such a mysterious expert naturally had an unusual background. Hence, he secretly arranged for someone to follow him. However, this person was different from others. He stayed far behind. This person was very far away because this expert's strength was average. However, he had a unique ability to sense a person's aura within a certain range. With this sense, this expert was very good at following people. Luoxia City Lord also wanted to know where this person came from, as long as he had an idea in his heart. In that case, that person is now in Danding sect. Could he be from the demon clan? Ling Yun frowned. "I've received news that Danding sect was besieged by the demon clan. Could this person be from the demon clan and deliberately infiltrated Danding sect?" The Luoxia City Lord thought for a while and said, "This person is very unfamiliar. He shouldn't be from the Orthodox sect. It's very likely that he's from the demon clan." After Ling Yun got the news from the Luoxia City Lord, he left Luoxia City without stopping. After leaving Luoxia City, he immediately sent a message and reported in detail. The next day, 4 experts came to Ling Yun's side. These 4 experts were all in the innate realm. 2 of them were in the mid-stage of the innate realm, while the other 2 were in the late stage of the innate realm. Together with Ling Yun, who was in the great perfection of the innate realm, they were considered a very powerful force. In this Kunlun secret realm, no one who was targeted by them could resist their capture. Our mission this time is very simple, and that is to capture the Devil Sect expert from Danding sect. Ling Yun took out a portrait. This portrait was drawn by the Sunset City Lord, and it was 90% similar to Lin Fei. If Lin Fei was here to see this, he would definitely be shocked. This was just like a photo, vivid and lifelike. These people followed Ling Yun's lead. The 4 of them stared at the portrait. "This brat doesn't look very old. At most, he's an innate ranker. Maybe he ate some pills to increase his strength. With the 5 of us, it'll be easy to catch him. That's right. If he's an expert from the demon sect, that would be the best. Who knows? This person might have been groomed by the demon sect. If we capture him, we can get information about the demon sect and destroy a few of their branches." The Tianyun clan's mission to destroy the demon clan had a huge reward. So many innate stage powerhouses liked to look for the demon clan's branches when they were wandering in the Kunlun secret realm and destroy them one by one. As long as 1/3 of the spoils were handed over, the rest would belong to them. At the same time, they would be jointly protected by the 5 top forces. Inside the palace of Pill Cauldron Gate, Lin Fei was flipping through the information sent by Dan Yuanzi. These information had indeed been passed down for a long time, and Lin Fei was very satisfied. However, most of the information was of no use to him. Even the 1,000 yuan pill was just SOSO in Lin Fei's eyes. It wasn't very helpful to his recovery. When he flipped to the last few books, Lin Fei almost gave up. There was nothing here that he needed. He picked up another book. There are actually secrets hidden in this ancient book. Lin Fei frowned slightly and rubbed his hands on the ancient book. Clatter, clatter. The book was crushed. He saw that this seemingly ordinary ancient book actually dropped out a few pieces of gold. "I knew it. The weight of this ancient book is different. It turns out that there are secrets hidden in this book. These small pieces of gold were as thin as cicadas' wings, but there were words engraved on them. These words were all ancient words. Lin Fei recognized them. The 3 pieces of gold were put together, just the size of a page. The entire book was only a few hundred words. Lin Fei read with great interest, and the corners of his mouth curled up. Interesting, really interesting. So the ancestor of the Pill Cauldron sect actually sealed a giant dragon in the Western world. No, giant dragons only exist in China. The giant dragon they're talking about should be a 4-legged lizard. Lin Fei also felt that it was inconceivable. According to what was written, the ancestor of the Pill Cauldron sect specially sealed a giant Western dragon in order to concoct a pill. He planned to use the dragon's essence and blood to concoct a pill. Unfortunately, just as he sealed the giant Western dragon, his injuries were too severe and he died. As for why this information was left in the gold pieces and sealed in the ancient book, it was probably because he was worried that his descendants would be attacked by the giant Western dragon if they were not strong enough. Lin Fei read it 3 times, not missing a single detail. Then he found a pill formula in another ancient book. After reading it, Lin Fei understood. The ancestor of the Pill Cauldron sect was really ambitious. He actually wanted to concoct the God Essence pill. This pill requires a 10,000-year-old medicinal herb as the main ingredient and the essence and blood of a spirit beast. The concoction is extremely difficult, and the failure rate is more than 90%. After reading the explanation of the God Essence pill, Lin Fei fell into deep thought. If I'm not wrong, this 10,000-year-old medicinal herb should be the one in the Western world. It's still in the Western world for the time being. The giant dragon should be this special spirit beast. If it was really concocted according to this method, even a qi refinement expert would not be able to withstand the fusion of 2 forces. It's extremely difficult. However, for my immortal body, this God Essence pill should be able to recover 20% of my strength. Pill Cauldron sect must have left behind some good stuff. Lin Fei thought for a moment and felt that the god Yuan Dan should be of some help to him. He memorized the name of the god Yuan Dan and put the golden piece away. On the gold pieces, there was also the location where the giant Western dragon was sealed. He could not leave it behind. Even if a long time passed, the location where the giant dragon was sealed would not change. At most, it would become a skyscraper or a desolate wilderness. It would not affect Lin Fei. After flipping through the last few ancient books and making sure that he did not miss anything, Lin Fei walked out of the palace. There was nothing worth Lin Fei leaving behind. Lin Fei decided to leave the Pill Cauldron sect. Book Guest Residence website. Chapter 4196. Dan Yuanzi had been guarding outside the palace. In the end, he was still worried that his disciples might not be able to keep a close eye on them. It would be bad if they offended this senior, especially since this senior might be the 16th Qi refining realm expert in the Kunlun mystery region. Although he did not know his exact cultivation realm, he was a genuine Qi refining realm expert. Senior, you're out. Is there anything you need our help with? Dan Yuanzi reacted the fastest as he came forward immediately. I have already read through all the books in your Danding Gate. I'm not going to treat you as an ancient book for nothing. Here are 2 bottles of medicinal pills. I'll give them to you. They're pretty good for treating injuries, especially for someone of your cultivation realm. Lin Fei took out 2 bottles of medicinal pills and passed them to Dan Yuanzi before leaving. Dan Yuanzi did not have the time to say anything as he watched this senior leave. In the blink of an eye, he disappeared from his sight. He could not even sense his existence. Dan Yuanzi looked at the medicinal pills in his hand and revealed a trace of regret. Originally, he wanted to ask the senior about the Tao of alchemy. After all, for him to take out medicinal pills, he must have some understanding of alchemy. But now he could only feel regret. I wonder what these medicinal pills are, Dan Unz opened one of the bottles, and a dense medicinal fragrance wafted out. His expression changed immediately. This is a supreme-grade medicinal pill. This senior must be an alchemy grandmaster. What a pity, what a pity. Dan Unz regretted not coming earlier. He had missed an opportunity. Lin Fei did not intend to take advantage of the Danding Gate. Apart from the last part of the ancient book, which had some use, most of the other books were useless. In Lin Fei's mind, there were countless medicinal pill recipes. Any one of them would be better than these. The only thing that interested him now was the 10,000-year-old medicinal herb and the sealed Western Dragon. The rest were not worth his attention. After leaving the Danding Gate, Lin Fei suppressed the thought of continuing to explore the Kunlun mystery region. He felt that it was better to get the 10,000-year-old medicinal herb and the sealed Western Dragon first. The former was of great use to him, and the latter was for concocting the divine essence pill. According to what's written, one must be old enough to refine the divine essence pill. This Western Dragon has definitely met that requirement. For the old ancestor of the Danding Gate to personally seal a Western Dragon, it shows that there are no sufficiently old spirit beasts in the Kunlun mystery realm. Lin Fei had to get his hands on the Western Dragon. In any case, he had already found the entrance to the Kunlun mystic realm. The next time he entered, it would be very easy. Evil remnants of the demon sect die. After descending from Danding School's mountain, he entered a forest. Whoosh! 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 More than a dozen arrows flew over. The people in the vicinity did not reveal any killing intent at all. It was only when the god-breaking arrow was shot that the killing intent exploded from their bodies. These god-slaying arrows were ferocious and had been infused with a great amount of power. It was obvious that they were not shot from the god-slaying crossbow. Instead, they relied on their own strength to forcefully shoot them as hidden weapons. These god-slaying arrows all stopped when they were a meter away from Lin Fei. Just like that, it floated in midair. Lin Fei stepped on it. Whoosh! 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 All the god-piercing arrows flew back. Cries of surprise could be heard from the forest. In the blink of an eye, 5 figures rushed out, looking somewhat miserable. These 5 people had different expressions, but the moment they landed, they blocked off Lin Fei's path. No matter which direction he went, he would meet one of them. These people were shocked. This person in front of them was really young, but his strength seemed to be beyond their imagination. They had used the god-piercing arrows, intending to catch the other party off guard before taking him down. However, they did not expect the other party to be so strong. They did not know what method he used to block the god-piercing arrows. Instead, they were attacked by the god-piercing arrows and nearly lost their boat. Who are you people to ambush me in the forest at this time? Tell me honestly so that you don't have to suffer later, Lin Fei said coldly. These people were all innate realm experts. The one leading them was even a great perfection innate realm expert. Such a lineup could definitely kill any innate realm expert. Even a great perfection innate realm expert would die without a doubt. Lin Fei did not remember who he had offended in the Kunlun mystic realm. The only person he had offended was Bai Lang, one of the 5 great devil marshals under the Devil Lord. The devil sect's actions seemed to be a little fast. Lin Fei was speechless. How did he become a member of the devil sect? He had nothing to do with them. These people were obviously mistaken. Attack! Take him down first. Ling Yun snorted coldly. He raised his hand and shot out a white fog. The remaining 4 people also shot out a white fog. Instantly, the entire area was enveloped by the white fog. The 5 people also retreated immediately. Obviously, this white fog was not an ordinary white fog. It was something that could injure people. No matter who it is, once they are hit by our soul fall powder, their entire body will become soft. They will not be able to exert any strength. Even if they take a breath, they will not be able to withstand it. As for us, we ate the antidote beforehand. Naturally, we can avoid it. That brat will definitely not be able to withstand it, one of the innate realm experts said with a sneer. There's no need to talk about rules when dealing with the experts of the Devil Sect. As long as we can take everything down, it will be fine. These 5 people did not take the ordinary path. The other party had attacked directly, but they had used some tricks. However, it was undeniable that this trick seemed to be very effective. The white fog shrouded the area for a long time. During this period of time, they had already retreated far away. They did not see anyone rushing out. The more it was like this, the better their mood was. They knew that the person inside must have been hit. After inhaling the soul fall powder, he would not have any ability to resist. When the time came, they could just go in and capture him. 5 dignified innate realm experts actually used such a trick. Aren't you ashamed? Lin Fei's figure suddenly appeared behind them. Lin Fei's lazy voice rang out. Ling Yin and the rest turned back in shock. They had never sensed when the other party had left. An invisible sword chi attacked. It was as thin as a cicada's wing. With a swoosh, it cut through the void and also cut the bodies of the 5 innate realm experts. The 5 Mr. Experts let out a muffled groan and flew out, falling into the white fog. A sharp wound was left on their chests, and traces of fallen soul powder seeped into their flesh and blood. In the blink of an eye, these Xiantian experts became like a pile of mud lying in the fog. Lin Fei walked in unhurriedly. Now, can you tell me who you are? You can also choose not to say it. I will only give you 3 breaths of time to consider. After this time, I will kill each of you with a sword. Ling Yun roared. How dare you? Swoosh! A sword cut off Ling Yun's head. I dare. Bookseller's website. Chapter 4197. Lin Fei chopped off Ling Yun's head with a single strike. The strike was so fast that Ling Yun didn't even have time to think. His eyes widened before he lost his breath. Don't kill us, we've already told you. The remaining 4 innate experts were shocked and their faces turned pale. They couldn't believe what they had just seen. That was Ling Yin, the trusted subordinate of the Tianyin clans, Lei Tianning. His head had been chopped off just like that. They had planned to resist to the end, but now they realized how ridiculous it was. He didn't have to care about the Tianyin clan at all to kill them. We are from the Tianyin clan. The Luoxia city lord suspects that you are from the demon clan. So we came to capture you so that we can dig out information about the demon clan from you, one of the innate experts said hurriedly. Lin Fei knew about the Tianyin clan, but he hadn't had much contact with them. He was very surprised to hear that. The Luoxia city lord is really interesting, but the Tianyin clan is even more interesting. At that moment, Lin Fei thought about it countless times. He didn't think that the identity of a demon clan was worth the Tianyin clan sending 5 innate experts. It seemed that they were obviously going to capture him alive. The biggest reason was probably because of the Tianyin clan. Go back and tell Lei Tianning of the Tianyin clan that this is not over. Swoosh! 3 rays of sword light flashed past 3 of the innate experts. I'm the only mid-stage innate expert who survived. Seeing that his companions had fallen to the side, he couldn't move anymore. Don't kill me. I really told you everything. He was on the verge of breaking down. Tell your Lei Tianning what I said. Lin Fei waved his hand and sent the innate expert flying. After falling several times, the man realized that he had regained his freedom and nodded repeatedly. I will definitely pass on the message, Senior. Lin Fei didn't care much about the Tianyin clan, but since Lei Tianning of the Celestial clan dared to plot against him, he naturally had to teach them a lesson. Lin Fei already knew that in the Kunlun mystic realm, innate experts were the core strength of the clan. The loss of 4 innate experts at once would definitely make the Tianyin clan suffer for a long time. It was not something that could be made up for in a short period of time. The 4 of them didn't have anything good on them. Lin Fei didn't want to stay, so he took away their things one by one. He went straight to Luoxia City. The lord of Luoxia City dared to slander him as a member of the devil sect. Lin Fei naturally would not be polite. No matter what, he had to find the lord of Luoxia City to settle the account. At the same time, at the westernmost part of the Kunlun mystic realm, there was a stretch of towering mountains and precipitous ridges. There was not even a trace of plains. Apart from mountains, there were more mountains. The base camp of the demon sect was in this mountain range. In addition, this mountain range was filled with poisonous fog, forming a natural barrier. If one wasn't an inborn expert, one wouldn't be able to withstand the attack of the poisonous fog. Demon Master, something bad has happened. Demon Marshal Bai Lang has been killed. A piece of news spread in the demon sect's headquarters, and it caused a huge commotion. Everyone knew that demonic Marshal Bai Lang was very strong and had a powerful saber technique. He might not lose even when fighting one against 2 or 3. Furthermore, he had evaded more than 10 encirclements, becoming famous in the Kunlun secret realm. However, now that he had been killed, the experts of the demon sect couldn't accept it for a while. The demon master was a young man who looked at most 20 years old and exuded a gloomy and cold aura. After hearing the news, his face darkened and he paced back and forth. I'm well aware of the strength of the demon general. Logically speaking, it's impossible for a normal expert at the peak of the innate realm to kill him. Only a chi refining expert can do it. There are no chi refining experts in Danding clan at all, only those at the peak of the innate realm. Even in the entire Tianyin clan, there are only a few chi refining experts in the Tianyin clan. The death of one of the 5 demon marshals was indeed a huge loss for the demon sect, especially when they besieged the Danding clan. If they couldn't make the Danding clan surrender to the demon sect, they wouldn't be allowed to continue refining pills for the righteous sections. Now that demon marshal Bai Lang was dead, the disciples of the demon sect had also suffered heavy casualties. None of them returned alive. They had suffered a huge setback in the matter of the Danding clan. Go and investigate immediately. We must find out who did it. It would be best if we can bring back the corpse of the demon marshal. The demon master was very angry. If this matter was not resolved, the morale of the demon sect would be shaken. After all, if even the demon marshal could be killed, then the remaining 4 demon marshals could also be killed. They had to be on guard. In another place, in the Tianyin clan, Lei Tianying was fishing as usual. The fish were all fish monsters that were not strong, but they were very ferocious. Lei Tianying never got tired of it and would come fishing almost every day. With the strength of Ling Yun and the others, it shouldn't be a problem for the 5 of them to surround and capture one person. They should be back by now. Lei Tianying raised his hand and pulled out a strange fish. The strange fish opened its mouth and swayed back and forth. Gluttonous guy! The heavenly thunder eagle swung its arm, and the strange fish fell back into the water. It created a splash as it quickly fled. Clan Master, Ling Yun is dead. They are all dead. A figure came in hurriedly. It was the innate middle stage master that Lin Fei let go. He came to the lake with a face full of fear. Lei Tianying, who was fishing, shook his hand as if he had heard wrongly. He raised his hand and grabbed the innate middle stage master. What did you say? Ling Yun is dead? That's impossible. I know Ling Yun's strength. Ling Yun was Lei Tianying's right-hand man, so he basically let Ling Yun handle everything. Lei Tianying did not believe that Ling Yun was dead. Clan Master, Ling Yun is really dead. Not only him, but the other 2 are dead too. Out of the 5 of us, I am the only one who came back alive. The innate middle stage master's voice was trembling. Lei Tianying's face darkened and the corner of his eyes began to twitch. This was an innate master. In the end, they lost 4 innate masters, and one of them was Ling Yun, a complete innate master. Lei Tianying was in a terrible mood. 4 innate masters are dead. How did you do it? You are all innate masters, not grandmasters. Could it be that the person you met was a Qi cultivator? Lei Tianying was furious. The number of innate masters in the Tianying clan was limited, and losing one would hurt for a long time. Now that they had lost 4 innate masters, how could he calm down? It hurts, my whole body hurts. At this moment, this Xiantian middle stage expert suddenly screamed out. His hands tore at his body, and his clothes were instantly torn apart. Green veins popped out, and he looked hideous. Oh no! As soon as Lei Tianying thought about it, the innate middle stage master in front of him turned into a huge ball. In the blink of an eye, there was a loud bang and blood splattered all over the place. Lei Tianying reacted quickly, but a large amount of blood splattered on his body. His entire face turned red and fresh blood flowed out. How could there be such a technique? Lei Tianying trembled. Chapter 40, 198. After telling Lingyun about the mysterious master, the city lord of Luoxia City was completely relieved. The Tianyun clan would definitely put this matter in an important position. No matter what happened to the mysterious master, the city lord of Luoxia City did not need to worry. The city lord of Luoxia City recovered and no longer felt so nervous. After being targeted by the Tianyun clan, one would either have to leave the area or be taken down. The city lord of Luoxia City felt at ease and resumed his usual activities. That night, the city lord of Luoxia City returned to his study after dealing with his affairs, ready to read the latest news. As soon as he entered the study, the city lord of Luoxia City felt a chill. The meaning of this made his hair stand on end. Who is it? The city lord of Luoxia City turned around and slapped. At the same time, he rushed out. The moment he stepped into the study, he felt a chill. It was a chill that made him feel a terrifying aura. Without saying anything, he chose to escape first. When the city lord of Luoxia City was halfway out, he suddenly found that he could not move. He was only half a step away from the door. He panicked. He was completely panicked. You are quite bold. I spared your life to give you face, but you actually arranged for someone to follow me. I really don't know who gave you the courage to do this. The city lord of Luoxia City could not move and was sucked back by a force. The door was closed again. Senior, you misunderstood me. I really did not follow you. Someone must have wronged me. The city lord of Luoxia City immediately turned pale when he saw the figure of the other party. He did not expect that the mysterious senior would come back again. You seem to know something now, which makes me unable to calm down. This is a matter of life and death. Are you sure someone wronged you? Lin Fei looked down at the city lord of Luoxia City. If someone wronged you, why would I come back to find you? His killing intent was cold. It's over, it's over. The city lord of Luoxia City did not dare to think about it anymore. This is what Lingyun asked me to do. I really did not want to deal with you, senior. With your strength, you are not someone I can do anything to. The city lord of Luoxia City said repeatedly. Lin Fei shook his head and looked disappointed. You are not honest, so you can only say that you are unlucky. An invisible sword qi whizzed through the space between the Luoxia City lord's eyebrows, leaving a bloody hole. Lin Fei took the things on Luoxia City lord's body and floated away. The corpse of the Luoxia City lord was discovered the next day. The entire Luoxia City was shocked. The news reached the Tianyun clan. Lei Tianying was once again enraged and smashed many things. Ancestor, this must be that guy's revenge. Our Tianyun clan has lost a total of 6 innate masters. Lei Tianying reported to the old ancestor. His face was filled with murderous intent. He wanted nothing more than to capture this person and chop him into 18 pieces. I suspect that this person is a qi cultivating master. He should be at the 1st or 2nd level of the qi cultivating stage. I just don't know which force he belongs to. The old ancestor, whose eyes were cloudy, looked calm. In that case, arrange for someone to pretend to be that guy and directly label him as an expert of the demon clan who has done all kinds of evil. Let him become famous in the Kunlun mystic realm. By then, we don't need to do anything. The other 4 top forces will immediately attack and kill this person. As long as that kid shows up, he will definitely die. The old ancestor suggested to Lei Tianning. Lei Tianning also thought that it was a good idea. The Tianyin clan had lost 6 innate masters, and they couldn't let the mysterious master get away with it. I'll immediately arrange for someone to do it. We'll definitely make him famous. It just so happens that we have a disguise expert in our sect. He can disguise himself as that person. No one will suspect anything. Maybe the demon lord will even thank us. They've lost a demon general. Lin Fei did not know about this. He walked back the way he came and arrived at the exit with ease. The array was still there. As soon as he came out of the Kunlun mystic realm, there was a huge difference in the changes of spiritual energy between the 2 worlds, which made Lin Fei a little uncomfortable. He sealed the entrance again. Lin Fei turned around and left the forest. I wonder how my training in Thailand has been while I was away. I should have gained quite a lot. Lin Fei went straight to Kai Shan's residence. It didn't take long for him to arrive at Kai Shan's residence. However, as soon as he reached the door, Lin Fei frowned slightly. Something seemed to be wrong. Although he had not been in the Kunlun mystic realm for a long time, the time of the 2 worlds was the same, and there was basically not much difference. Walking into Kai Shan's residence, Lin Fei saw something unusual. The people who were originally on guard were now all injured. Master, you're finally back. Senior sister, Su Mei has been kidnapped. As soon as Lin Fei came in, he saw the injured Kai Shan. Kai Shan's injuries were more serious than the last time. The pills he gave to Kai Shan previously naturally allowed him to recover quickly. However, this time his injuries were several times more serious than the last time, and he seemed to be on the verge of death. If it wasn't for his immense strength supporting him, Kai Shan would have died a long time ago. Little Su has been kidnapped. Who did it? With your strength, who can be your match in Southeast Asia? Lin Fei's face turned ugly. Little Su was his first disciple. He originally wanted to leave her in Thailand to train, but now she was actually kidnapped. Kai Shan lowered his head and said, "That person is an expert. He should be a Chinese expert. He directly barged into my place, and none of my people could stop him. Even when I used my methods, I wasn't his match. In just 5 moves, I lost to him. If it wasn't for senior sister Su pleading for mercy on my behalf, I might have been killed by that person. My people are already investigating. As long as there is a trace of him left behind, my people will definitely be able to find his whereabouts. This is all my fault. If it wasn't for me bringing senior sister Su around to challenge experts, we wouldn't have been targeted." Lin Fei snorted coldly. "This isn't your fault. You even dare to kidnap my disciple. I want to see who has the guts to do so." Lin Fei took out a bottle of pills and threw it to Kai Shan. "Eat this pill first. If I were here for a few more days, you'd be dead." Kai Shan originally didn't have much use for Lin Fei. However, with the entrance to the Kunlun mystic realm in Southeast Asia, Kai Shan's importance was self-evident. Lin Fei didn't wish for Kai Shan to die so quickly. He still needed someone to help watch over the entrance to the Kunlun mystic realm. Not only did Kai Shan consume pills, Lin Fei personally helped Kai Shan resolve the energy in his body. It was a pure yang energy, and it was extremely overbearing. If he didn't resolve it, his injuries would be suppressed and unable to heal. Chapter 4199. In a small farm in the outskirts of Thailand. The surrounding area was filled with large plantations of banana trees. Farms like this could be seen everywhere in Thailand. "Miss Su, you didn't expect this, did you? We meet again. Do you think I should smile or should you smile?" Su Wenchang smiled as he pushed open the door and entered. Su Mei sat on the bed. Her face was a little pale and she was in a bad state of mind. However, she was still all right. How did you get in? Why are you here? When Su Wenchang entered, Su Mei was shocked. How could she have forgotten about this guy? Su Wenchang chuckled. Miss Su, I didn't expect this day to come. However, don't worry, I won't touch you. I'm just here to see if you're doing well. After all, it's all thanks to me that you're here. So, you're the one behind this. Su Mei's eyes were spitting fire. She clasped her hands together and slashed at Su Wenchang. However, this movement caused her to fall to the ground. Su Mei's face turned pale. She just remembered that her strength had been sealed. She was no different from a normal weak girl. In fact, she might even be weaker than a normal person. Su Wenchang squatted down. Miss Su, I really have to thank you. If it wasn't for your help, I wouldn't have met my current master. Now, I've reached the heavens in a single step. When Su Wenchang thought about what happened on the plane that day, he was infuriated. Especially after he saw Chai Shan, he was extremely uneasy. In the following days, he was terrified and he almost wanted to leave Thailand. However, he had things to do, so he had no choice but to bear with it. Until one day he met Su Mei by chance. He found out that Su Mei was a martial arts expert who had defeated many famous experts in Thailand. Initially, that was fine. However, Su Wenchang was found by a mysterious person who agreed to help him. Initially, Su Wenchang didn't really believe it. However, after the other party displayed his strength, he completely believed it and worked very hard for that person. Moreover, that person seemed to be looking for someone, and it was a young girl. Hence, he added Su Mei's name to the list. Due to a freak combination of factors, Su Mei was captured by that mysterious person. Now, she was being watched by Su Wenchang. Although Su Wenchang didn't dare to touch the person in front of him, he was very happy to be able to look down on Su Mei. Miss Su, I know you are very strong, but you are no different from a weak girl now. Do you want to hit me? Come on then. I'm afraid you don't even have the strength to walk. Su Wenchang laughed, his face full of pride. Su Mei opened her mouth and spat on Su Wenchang's face. Su Wenchang, just you wait. Once I recover my strength, I will definitely break your limbs and throw you into Thailand to be a beggar. These days, Su Mei had defeated countless experts in Thailand. Experience was very useful. Even if she couldn't use any of it now, Su Mei didn't have the slightest bit of cowardice as she stared at Su Wenchang. Su Wenchang chuckled. Then I'll wait for you to break my limbs. I'm so scared. Su Wenchang shrunk his neck and smiled. He didn't take Su Mei's words seriously at all. At this moment, a figure walked over. Su Wenchang turned his head abruptly and saw a cloaked man walking over. Su Wenchang immediately revealed a smile. Master, you're here. Miss Su's temper is still very bad. I think it's better to starve her for a few meals. Look at Miss Su's full of energy. She doesn't look like she wants to talk nicely at all. There was an additional figure in black at the door. Under the cloak, one couldn't see his face clearly. The aura on his body was very gloomy and cold. Who are you? Why did you capture me? Until now, Su Mei couldn't forget that it was this person who charged into Kai Shan's residence and defeated him in 2 or 3 moves before capturing her. Su Mei was originally very afraid. She didn't expect that after this person brought her here, he would seal her strength and lock her in this wooden house. It seemed like he even let Su Wenchang watch from outside. Even though Su Mei was very smart, she couldn't guess the other party's thoughts. However, based on a woman's intuition, Su Mei felt that the mysterious person's motive for her was not simple. Miss Su, you don't need to know who I am. However, you should be glad that I found you. With your 10,000 yen body, it's very hard to find you in this secular world. I didn't expect to find you here. I can only say that you're lucky. You don't need to worry about me killing you because you're a treasure in my eyes. You just need to eat and drink well. After a while, you'll realize that this world is more interesting than you can imagine. Ordinary people don't have this kind of opportunity, the cloaked man said with a sinister smile. When this voice fell into Su Mei's ears, it was very ear-piercing. I don't care what you plan to do with me, but I want to tell you that my master is very powerful. When my master comes, I'm afraid that you won't have a good ending, Sumei said coldly. The cloaked man said with disdain, Isn't your master Kai-shan? Kai-shan's strength is indeed very powerful outside, and he's the #1 expert in Southeast Asia. However, in my eyes, he's just trash that can't withstand a single blow. You'll definitely regret it. Sumei looked at the cloaked man. Then I'll wait for your master to come. In my entire life, I've never encountered anything that could make me regret, the cloaked man said lightly. He turned to Su Winchong and said, I still have something to do. Look after Sumei for me. If she escapes from here, you don't need to continue living. Su Winchong nodded repeatedly. Master, don't worry. I'll definitely look after Miss Su. She can forget about escaping from my eyes. Once you've done this, I'll bring you into the sect and let you officially become a martial artist, the cloaked man said before turning around and leaving. Miss Su, you've also seen it. You should just obediently accept your fate. Su Wenchang said with a smile. I should also thank you. If it wasn't for you, how could I possibly have the opportunity to become a martial artist? It's all thanks to you. Su Mei didn't speak anymore. She struggled to stand up from the ground and sat on the bed. Close the door for me. I don't want to see you. You don't want anything to happen to me, right? Otherwise, I'm afraid that mysterious person will be the first to kill you. Su Winchang's face instantly turned somewhat ugly. He opened his hand and was about to hit her. Go ahead and try. Su Mei glared. Su Winchang hesitated and retracted his hand. He didn't dare to do anything and slammed the door fiercely. Miss Su, I'll starve you for 3 to 5 days first. You won't starve to death anyway. Chapter 40, 200. With Lin Fei's help, Kai-shan quickly recovered from his injuries and even improved a little. Kai-shan's men were searching for clues immediately. However, after 3 days, there was no result at all. It was as if Su Mei had disappeared into thin air repeatedly. Master, our men haven't found anything. The whole of Thailand has been turned upside down. We've sent people to investigate all the suspicious places. We've also contacted the factions in the surrounding areas, but there are still no clues. Kai-shan lowered his head and looked depressed. Master, our men didn't find anything. It's normal that you can't find anything. Logically speaking, the person who kidnapped little Su shouldn't have left so easily. He must be hiding somewhere. Lin Fei snorted coldly. The person who kidnapped little Su was indeed good. He had concealed the marks on little Su's body. Even now, Lin Fei couldn't sense Su Mei's general location. He could only vaguely sense that Su Mei hadn't left Thailand. Originally, Lin Fei wanted Kai-shan to send people to search for clues. Even if there was a trace, he would be able to find Su Mei's whereabouts. Unfortunately, he was happy for nothing. Since your men can't find her, I'll do it myself. Lin Fei's face turned cold. He decided to do it himself. When he returned, Lin Fei knew that Su Mei had been kidnapped. However, he wasn't worried because her aura was still there. In other words, she was locked up somewhere. Now that Kai-shan's men couldn't find any clues, Lin Fei could only do it himself. Prepare high-quality yellow paper, cinnabar, and a wolf hair brush. The older, the better. Kai-shan immediately went out to prepare. The long table was quickly filled with the things that Lin Fei needed. I haven't made talismans in a long time. There shouldn't be any problem. The ground cinnabar was placed beside Lin Fei. Lin Fei grabbed the wolf-howling brush and started drawing on the yellow paper. Lin Fei hadn't drawn a talisman in a long time. In order to find Su Mei, Lin Fei had to draw a talisman. Of course, the talisman that Lin Fei drew was not just any ordinary talisman. It was the 1,000-mile person finder talisman. This was a real top-notch talisman. Although it was somewhat useless, it was still useful for finding people. Thankfully, I have recovered 20% of my strength. I can now use the 1,000-mile person Seeker Talisman. A few hundred miles should not be a problem. When the last stroke fell, the entire talisman emitted a faint light, and a splendid light flashed. Lin Fei knew that he had succeeded. Master, is this talisman drawing? I heard that there are requirements for drawing talismans. Many people spend their entire lives unable to draw a simple talisman. Kai Shan said respectfully, "The difficulty of drawing talismans is average. It's just a matter of how many talismans you draw. Practice makes perfect." Lin Fei grabbed the talisman and activated it. On the talisman, Su Mei's birth date and 8 characters were left behind. The talisman turned into a cloud of green smoke. After the green smoke disappeared, a little bird came out. The bird wasn't big, and it was faintly discernible. After staying in place for a while, he flew out with a whoosh. "You drive. I'll point the way." Lin Fei ran out and sat in an off-road vehicle outside. Kai Shan ran over to be the driver. "Drive forward." He stepped on the accelerator, and the off-road vehicle rushed out. "Drive to the right. Drive forward to the end. Don't stop." The little bird's speed wasn't fast. It seemed to be waiting for Lin Fei. Kai Shan had learned a lot. He always knew that talismans were a very profound skill. A powerful talisman could exert great power. For example, this time he suffered a big loss from the other party's talisman. If it wasn't for his profound skill, that attack from the talisman would have seriously injured him. He wouldn't have been able to hold on until his master returned. Gradually, the car kept driving out. "Master, this is already the suburbs of Thailand. There are many farms outside. Could it be that Miss Su is hidden in this farm?" After a few dozen miles out of Thailand, this place seemed desolate. It wasn't as lively as Thailand. "It would be better if she was hidden in a farm," Lin Fei said. Kai Shan knew that his master was angry. The little bird continued to fly forward. After 100 kilometers out of Thailand, the little bird's speed became slower and slower. "If I'm not wrong, little Su should be in one of the farms in front." Lin Fei coldly snorted and got out of the off-road vehicle. At this time, the off-road vehicle couldn't move anymore. In front of them were dense banana trees. The little bird had already flown into the banana forest, but with Lin Fei's divine sense locked onto it, there was no need to worry about not being able to find it. No wonder my people couldn't find her. So she was hiding in these banana forests. Kai Shan angrily said, "What a cunning fellow." A place like this was indeed not something he could find. It was impossible to leave any clues in these places. This area was a large area for planting bananas. It was filled with dense banana trees. Among these banana trees, one could occasionally see 1 or 2 wooden houses. These wooden houses weren't big, just enough for one person to live in. "I hope Miss Su is fine." Kai Shan prayed. Lin Fei and Kai Shan walked through the banana forest. After walking for another 20 to 30 kilometers, halfway up the mountain, 2 wooden houses appeared. Around these wooden houses were banana trees of all sizes. If one didn't enter the banana forest, they wouldn't be able to see the wooden houses. The little bird flew all the way to the top of the wooden houses before turning into a green smoke and completely disappearing. In front of the wooden houses, Su Wenchang was lying on a recliner, lazily smoking a cigarette. Beside him was a pile of snacks, as well as big and small cups of instant noodles. In order to keep an eye on Su Mei, Su Wenchang didn't dare to leave for even a moment. Fortunately, there were 2 wooden houses, and he could sleep in one of them. This wooden house was locked by him. During the day, he would sit at the door. "Miss Su, you must be hungry. I have instant noodles and biscuits here. As long as you beg me, I'll give them to you. How about it? I'm finally easy to talk to." Su Wenchang chuckled. "Surnamed Su, just give up. Even if I, Su Mei, starve to death, I won't eat your food." Su Mei's cold voice came from inside the house. Su Wenchang was a little annoyed. Today is the third day. Let's see how much longer you can hold on. Su Wenchang wanted Su Mei to lower her head. He believed that Su Mei wouldn't be able to hold on much longer. Not eating for 1 or 2 days might be nothing, but not everyone could hold on for 3 or 4 days. So it's you, kid. You're really bold. Just as Su Wenchang finished speaking, a figure rushed in front of him. Before Su Wenchang could react, with a bang his entire body was smashed to the ground. He only heard cracking sounds. Who knew how many of his ribs were broken? A figure appeared in front of Su Wenchang. It's him. Invincible Leveling King. Invincible Leveling King. Chapter 4201. Su Wenchang's kick had left him half dead. He had never expected that someone would come to this place. His master had told him that this place was far from Thailand in the outskirts and surrounded by banana forests. Other than a few acquaintances, no one knew of the existence of these 2 wooden houses. Are you surprised? Of course. I'm even more surprised by your appearance. Lin Fei walked over and looked down at Su Wenchang as he spoke coldly. Kai Shan slashed open the door with a palm. Senior sister, we are here. Su Mei, who was in the room, saw Kai Shan standing at the door and her master, Lin Gei, behind him. She cried tears of joy. Master, you are finally here. Your disciple has disappointed you. Su Mei didn't even dare to raise her head to look at Lin Fei. She had come to Thailand to train for such a long time, but she was kidnapped and her strength was sealed. Su Mei didn't know how to face her master and felt that she had learned for nothing. Lin Fei was relieved to see that Su Mei was fine. He suddenly narrowed his eyes and raised his hand to slap Su Mei several times. Every slap was as fast as lightning and as light as a gust of wind. Su Mei snorted and was pleasantly surprised to find that the strength in her body was flowing through her body again. She had recovered her strength. Su Wenchang, do you remember what I said? I will break your limbs. Su Mei, who had recovered her strength, pounced forward with a cold expression. She lifted Su Wenchang up from the ground and slashed at his arms and legs. Kacha, kacha! Su Wenchang screamed and was thrown to the ground. He couldn't move and blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. Miss Su, I was wrong. I was wrong. Please forgive me. This was all arranged by my master. I am just doing things for him. Su Wenchang's face was pale. How could he forget what Su Mei said? He didn't expect it to come true so quickly. Wave after wave of intense pain assaulted Su Wenchang's entire body, keeping him awake at all times. At this moment, Su Wenchang wanted to faint, but the more he did so, the more energetic he was. Su Mei also had a belly full of anger. She kicked Su Wenchang's body again, directly sending Su Wenchang flying. He crashed into more than 10 banana trees in a row. Lin Fei didn't stop Su Mei from doing this. He knew that his eldest disciple had been suppressing her anger, and it was time for her to vent it out. Don't kill this guy. I still have some things to know. Master, I understand. Miss Su, please spare my life. I really can't take it anymore, Su Wenchang begged. How could Su Mei listen to Su Wenchang's words? She went up and continuously beat him up. Bang, bang, bang. Kai Shan was sweating as he watched. It was too tragic. After beating her up for more than 10 minutes, she finally stopped. Su Mei's face had also recovered, and there was no longer as much hatred as before. He threw Su Wenchang in front of Lin Fei. Su Wenchang had already been beaten up to the point where he didn't look like a human. If he wasn't still breathing, he would have been beaten to death by Su Mei. Lin Fei was quite satisfied with Su Mei's change. At least in Thailand, strength was effective. Her mental state had clearly changed. Su Wenchang couldn't move. He couldn't even say a word. His teeth were almost all beaten out. Once he opened his mouth, air would leak out. Lin Fei lifted Su Wenchang and tapped his forehead with a finger. The memories in Su Wenchang's mind kept appearing. In just a few seconds, Lin Fei had gone through all of his memories. When Su Wenchang landed on the ground again, his eyes were completely lifeless. Under Lin Fei's violent methods, his consciousness was scattered. Now he was no different from an idiot. Even if God Dalio came, he wouldn't be able to save him. Kaishan, do you know the Dojo of Limits? When checking Su Wenchang's memories, there was a paragraph that stood out the most. It was that the master he recognized seemed to come from a place in the Dojo of Limits. He definitely had a great relationship with the Dojo of Limits. Kaishan said in shock, I know about the Dojo of Limits. It's a mysterious force in Thailand. This dojo has existed for a long time, but no one dared to touch it because there are experts overseeing it. They are very strong. I once went to the Dojo of Limits to spar with them, but I didn't gain any advantage. Later, I heard that the person I fought with wasn't the strongest. Since then, I didn't go to the Dojo of Limits anymore. I secretly arranged people to keep an eye on the Dojo of Limits and found out a lot of information. This Dojo of Limits should have a lot of God-rank experts overseeing it. Lin Fei squinted his eyes. Looks like this Dojo of Limits background isn't small. Let's go, we'll go to the Dojo of Limits now. I want to see just what kind of background this Dojo of Limits has. Lin Fei had already memorized that person's appearance. Master, I heard from that mysterious person that I seemed to be very useful to him. Moreover, he could see that I have the 10,000 yin body at a glance. He should be very concerned about me. I saw that he was busy with something. That person should be in Thailand. Su Mei told him about the situation that day. Lin Fei brought Su Mei out of the banana forest and got into the off-road vehicle. Kaishan continued to be the driver. At the same time, he arranged for people to take Su Wenchang away and left people to watch the wooden house. Master, am I very useless? I caused you trouble again, Su Mei said with her head lowered. Lin Fei smiled and shook his head. This little trouble is nothing. As a fighter, you will always encounter all kinds of troubles. You also have the 10,000 yin body. Since that person could see that you're naturally not weak, it's normal for you to not be his opponent. However, with your own body, in a few years, your strength will increase by leaps and bounds. Moreover, your strength has increased very quickly. You're now a grandmaster. Lin Fei saw Su Mei's improvement. He was naturally very satisfied with this big disciple of his. Thank you for the compliment, Master. This was just an accident. This kind of thing won't happen again. Lin Fei realized that he had neglected some things, such as making some powerful methods for the people around him. Fortunately, this time situation wasn't as bad as he imagined. Lin Fei wasn't that worried anymore. When he returned, he must make powerful talismans for them to protect their lives. With these talismans, even if an expert attacked, they could easily repel the opponent, unless the opponent didn't want to live anymore. When they returned to Thailand, it was already evening. Master, my people are already watching the Extreme Dojo. No one came out or went in. An off-road vehicle stopped on the side of the road. Not far from the roadside, there was a villa with 2 stone lions. It was hard to imagine that the Extreme Dojo was in this villa. This is the Extreme Dojo. Lin Fei glanced at the villa. He didn't feel any powerful aura, but he noticed something different. There was a formation set up in this villa, isolating all auras. Apex. Chapter 4202. The Dojo of Limits was very mysterious in Thailand. Until now, no one knew who the founder of the Dojo of Limits was. Anyone who had a relationship with the Dojo of Limits in a short span of 10 years would have a meteoric rise. Any opponent of these people, without exception, would have all kinds of accidents. From then on, no one dared to look down on the Dojo of Limits. At this time, in a study room of the Dojo of Limits, the smell of sandalwood lingered in the air, filling the air with a faint fragrance. Under this fragrance, a light sniff could make people feel relaxed and happy. Junior brother, you did very well this time. I didn't think that we could find a 10,000 yin body outside. This is a nearly extinct body. The one speaking was a black-faced brute. The black-faced brute's skin was dark as if he came out of a mine, forming a huge contrast with the white skin of the middle-aged man opposite him. Speaking of which, this is also a coincidence. It's just that we found the 10,000 yen body, but we don't know when we'll find the pure yang blood. Young master needs the 10,000 yen body and the pure yang blood to cultivate that technique. Only then will he be able to cultivate that technique at a critical moment. Once he cultivates this technique, he will have the strength to cultivate qi. Our sect can have another qi cultivating expert. The middle-aged man said, I already know the whereabouts of the pure yang blood. There should be concrete news soon. At that time, we can discuss how to act. But you put that Su Mei with the 10,000 yen body in the banana forest outside. Will there be any accidents? The middle-aged man opposite said, that place is very safe. If Kai Shan wasn't the number one expert in Southeast Asia and time was tight, I would definitely kill him. Otherwise, why would I go through so much trouble to hide Su Mei outside? Wouldn't it be fine if I just put her in the dojo of limits? The black-faced brute shook his head. Luckily, you didn't kill her. That Kai Shan isn't simple. Don't look at his strength as a Xiantian. He has people behind him. Last time he was ambushed and quickly recovered from his injuries. If he didn't have people behind him, he wouldn't be able to recover that fast. Plus, if we really killed Kai Shan, there would be chaos. It wouldn't be good for our dojo of limits. With Kai Shan at the front, no one would suspect us. The middle-aged man opposite said, Senior brother really knows how to calculate. In this aspect, I'm much worse than you. A knock on the door interrupted their conversation. Head, there's a man and a woman outside, but the woman is a grandmaster. She said she wants to spar with our dojo of limits. Many of our disciples have been defeated. Do you want to come out and take a look? In Thailand, a grandmaster was considered very powerful. The black-faced man was a little surprised. Female grandmasters are quite rare. I want to go out and take a look. The middle-aged man didn't plan on going out. I won't go outside. It's just a female grandmaster. She probably heard from someone that our dojo of limits has an expert. These guys are all crazy girls. The black-faced man laughed. So what if she's a crazy woman? I quite like crazy women. The dojo of limits inside the villa was very big. From the outside, there was a garden with a lot of facilities. After walking through this path, they arrived at the dojo of limits lobby. The hall was very big, and the most eye-catching thing was the huge arena in the middle. At this moment, there were many disciples of the dojo of limits sparring with each other. The fight was very intense. It wasn't as weak as usual. One look and you could tell that they had put in a lot of effort. Lin Fei and Su Mei walked in. Kai Shan was left outside by Lin Fei. He told him to keep an eye on the dojo of limits and send him a message if there's any movement. There really is a formation inside the dojo of limits. Standing in the lobby, Lin Fei felt 5 powerful auras. Among the 5 were early and middle Xiantian, and the last one was a peak Xiantian. What surprised Lin Fei the most was that this peak Xiantian seemed to have a certain connection with the formation. In other words, this person could control the dojo of limits formation. Maybe he could increase his strength by 30 to 50%. No wonder Kai Shan wasn't their opponent. That's right. Kai Shan's poison techniques are indeed powerful. However, against these people, his poison attacks are weak. I'm here to spar with the dojo of limits. As soon as Su Mei came in, she didn't say anything and rushed towards a fighter who looked strong. She used a series of bagua palms and kicks. She attacked fiercely, catching the opponent off guard. In the blink of an eye, she defeated several disciples of the dojo of limits. At this moment, the disciples of the dojo of limits were furious. Stop! Who allowed you to cause trouble here? A disciple of the dojo of limits rushed out and started fighting with Su Mei. Su Mei used Su Wenchang to beat him up. She vented a lot of her anger, but there was still a large portion of her anger that hadn't been vented. After all, no matter how much Su Wenchang beat her up, he wouldn't be able to handle Su Mei's strength. And now, Su Mei finally had an opponent she could face. Pung 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 pung. Su Mei's palm technique had a cold aura. It made the opponents feel a lot of pressure. Lin Fei stood on the side and didn't say anything. He just silently watched. He was very satisfied with Su Mei's performance. I heard that the people of the Dojo of Limits are very strong, but you guys disappoint me too much. Su Mei once again whipped out her leg, sending a disciple of the Dojo of Limits flying. The disciple landed heavily on the ground with a loud thud. At this moment, the disciples of the Dojo of Limits only dared to surround and not attack. If you don't dare to attack now, then I'll do it myself. Su Mei chose the closest disciple and pounced on him. She used a series of palm strikes and kicks. Many more disciples were knocked to the ground. Impudent, this is the Dojo of Limits. You, a female grandmaster, can do whatever you want. Another figure rushed out. This figure was very strong. Every step was like an earthquake. Su Mei's face became serious. An expert. Only like this can be considered an opponent. Su Mei dodged the attack with a swallow flip. She turned around and used a whip to ruthlessly hit the opponent's body. This attack was very strong. It landed squarely on the opponent's body and made a muffled sound. You dare to behave atrociously here with just this bit of strength? The bulky man said in disdain. He chopped down with one hand. It was like a knife, incomparably sharp. Su Mei flipped up and used her legs to clamp the opponent. She fiercely flipped the bulky man and threw him away. For tails against 1,000 caddies. How do you feel now? Su Mei pounced on him. Cold air attacked. The bulky man underestimated the opponent. He wiped the blood from his mouth. Interesting. Chapter 42:03. P.S. I'm stuck at the last minute. The brawny man's fighting style was big and bold, constantly attacking Su Mei at close range. Su Mei's cold palm technique used softness to overcome hardness. The two of them were locked in a stalemate and were evenly matched. For a moment, no one could hold the other. After a long time, the two of them were a little anxious. The brawny man used a secret technique, and the aura on his body instantly soared. Su Mei took advantage of this opportunity and also used a secret technique. Heart-chilling strike. Su Mei lightly shouted, affecting the surrounding cold chi, and instantly launched a blow in the brawny man's body. The burly man groaned and retreated a few steps before sitting on the ground. His entire face was covered with a layer of white frost. I didn't expect you to have this move. I'm not as good as you. The brawny man spoke with a trembling voice and spat out white mist. Thank you for letting me win. The secret technique that Su Mei used was taught to her by Lin Fei. She had never used it before and did not expect to use it here. More importantly, the opponent had withstood Su Mei's attack and his injury was not as serious as imagined. Su Mei could be considered to have seen what it meant by there is always someone better out there. What a great female grandmaster. You are so young, and yet you can master this secret technique. If you are given time, it won't be long before you can break through to the innate realm. A black-faced, brawny man walked out with his hands in his hands. His eyes stared at Su Mei, and his whole face revealed a trace of ecstasy. This was because he smelled the aura of the 10,000 yin body on this female grandmaster. Others might not feel it, but the black-faced brawny man was exceptionally clear. His junior brother had just obtained a 10,000 yin body, and now another one had appeared. The black-faced brawny man felt that his luck was too good. There was no fear of having too many of such top-grade physiques. One was one. There would never be too many. Dojo master, her palm technique is very special. I'm not her opponent. The brawny man stood up. His whole face was still pale. The black-faced brawny man said, It's normal that you can't beat her. Fortunately, her strength has not reached the innate realm. Otherwise, Her strength can be increased by several times. Ordinary people are not her opponent at all. There is nothing to be ashamed of losing to her. You're that dojo master. Su Mei sensed a trace of powerful aura from the other party. It was even more powerful than the muscular man in front of her. Looks like you're not a good person either. Su Mei fiercely pounced forward and attacked with both hands. Each of them sent out a palm strike that was frighteningly cold. Lin Fei, who was standing not far away, secretly nodded in approval when he saw this scene. Facing a strong opponent, her eldest disciple still dared to make a move. In terms of mentality, she had already surpassed many people. As a martial artist, if they did not have a strong mentality, then they would never be able to accomplish anything. Su Mei had done very well in this aspect. She clearly knew that the opponent was strong, but she still decided to give it a try. This was not the immensity of heaven and earth, but a kind of attitude. This attitude determined what the future would be like. The black-faced man took a step forward and punched out, aiming for the root of the problem. A wave exploded like a scarlet flame. Su Mei's two palms were directly broken, and a huge wave surged on her body, causing her to retreat several steps. At this moment, a figure appeared behind Su Mei. A hand blocked Su Mei's back, dispersing all the power. At this moment, Su Mei's forehead was full of sweat. The moment they exchanged blows, it was as if she was in a furnace. All the water in her body seemed to be evaporating at this moment. Little girl, seeing that your strength isn't bad, just obediently stay in the dojo of limits. As long as you're willing to stay in the dojo of limits, I can guarantee that you'll become a Xiantian master within 3 years. The black-faced man laughed. You should know that the Xiantian realm is a huge threshold. It's like ascending to the heavens. Who knows how many grand masters have been stuck? Every grand master wishes to become a Xiantian master. What do you think? Su Mei spat on the ground. You have the nerve to ask me to stay in the dojo of limits. Have you asked my master? With just this bit of strength, you have the nerve to behave atrociously in front of my master. Why don't you take a look in the mirror and see who you are? The dark-faced, burly man's gaze landed on Lin Fei, who was standing behind Su Mei, and was filled with disdain. I don't know where this young man behind you got his courage from, but he actually dares to become your master. Doesn't he know that a person like you can't be guided and nurtured by an ordinary master? The black-faced man didn't feel any aura from Lin Fei's body. This kind of person's strength couldn't be that strong. The black-faced man decided to teach this guy a lesson, to let him know that being a master isn't that easy. Let me see what makes you qualified to be someone else's master. The black-faced man's feet moved, and a few afterimages appeared. In an instant, he arrived on the left side of Lin Fei, and a fist fiercely struck towards Lin Fei's head. If Lin Fei was hit by this punch, his head would explode and he would turn into a pool of blood. Lin Fei squinted his eyes. He had no enmity with this black-faced man, and he didn't even say a word. Yet his attack was so vicious. Lin Fei was a bit unhappy. In the face of this violent punch, Lin Fei moved his head slightly to the side, dodging it. The black-faced man was clearly surprised that his fist actually missed. Then let's punch again. He pulled back his fist and punched out again. In one breath, his strength was even greater than before. Lin Fei lightly moved his head and directly dodged it. The black-faced man once again missed. Look, you can't even hit my master, and you still have the nerve to act in front of my master. Su Mei hid behind Lin Fei and smiled happily. The black-faced man's face was a bit embarrassed. Pung, 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 pung. The speed of his punches instantly increased, and a dozen fist shadows fiercely attacked. Not only that, his legs also kicked out at the first moment. It turned out that the black-faced man was not only powerful in fist techniques, but also in leg techniques. In close combat, he suddenly displayed such a move, and it really caught everyone off guard. The black-faced man revealed a cruel smile. His trump card was not something that just anyone could block. But in the next second, the black-faced man suddenly screamed. It was as if his leg had kicked a large steel plate. His leg bone was definitely broken. The black-faced man couldn't believe it. This guy obviously didn't have any aura on his body. How could his leg be so hard? With his leg technique, it was as if he had kicked a steel plate. His legs were almost numb, and he took a few steps back. It seems that you are still too weak. Lin Fei shook his head. Who the hell are you? In a flash, he flashed in front of the black-faced man and slapped the black-faced man's face. Plop! A loud sound echoed. The black-faced man's whole body hit the ground. Countless cracks and fragments spread out like a spiderweb. It was a ghastly sight. The black-faced man had already sunk to the bottom of the ground. Bookseller's website. Chapter 4204. A loud sound. The ground of the dojo of limits was filled with countless cracks. The entire dojo shook as if an earthquake had happened. The dojo master actually lost. Impossible. How could our dojo master lose? The disciples of the dojo of limits were all dumbfounded and immediately shrouded in fear. In their eyes, the dojo master's strength was unfathomable. Who knows how many experts had been defeated by him, including the #1 expert in Southeast Asia, Kaishan. Since then, the name of the dojo of limits spread throughout Southeast Asia. No one dared to offend the dojo of limits. Just being a disciple of the dojo of limits allowed them to walk unhindered throughout Southeast Asia. This was something they were proud of. But right now, the powerful and invincible dojo master in their eyes was defeated just like that. His whole body was lying in a pit, not knowing if he was dead or alive. You don't need to know who I am, but you touched my disciple. We'll have to settle this. Lin Fei reached out and grabbed. The black-faced man didn't have time to do anything before he was sucked out. In front of this power, the black-faced man's expression changed again. He didn't even have the slightest ability to struggle as he was tightly grabbed by Su Mo. Even though he mobilized all the power in his body to the limit, he still couldn't break free. Disciple? Senior, you must be mistaken. When did our extreme martial dojo make a move against your disciple? The black-faced man said bravely. A light flashed through his mind, but he quickly suppressed it. It can't be that coincidental, right? Su Mei took a step forward and stared coldly at the black-faced man. My name is Su Mei. I don't know if you have any impression of me. The black-faced man's mind exploded. He revealed an expression of disbelief and blurted out, You're Su Mei. Weren't you locked outside? Why are you here? The black-faced man obviously knew the name Su Mei. She was the 1 in 10,000 person with the 10,000 yin body. She was locked in a banana forest in the outskirts by his disciple. Now, Su Mei actually came to the dojo of limits. What the black-faced man couldn't accept the most was that Su Mei had such a powerful master behind her. He was a peak Xiantian expert, yet he was defeated in one move and was heavily injured. The black-faced man couldn't believe this was true. Are you surprised and shocked? Wasn't I Su Mei locked outside? However, you have underestimated me. I have a good master. My master came from afar and saved me. Now, we can properly settle our old debts. I know that it wasn't you who did it. There should be someone else. Su Mei said coldly. Lin Fei stood with his hands behind his back, quietly looking at the black-faced man. You should have heard my disciple's words, right? If you know what's good for you, call him out. Otherwise, I'm afraid you won't be able to keep your life. The black-faced man had indeed underestimated Su Mei. However, since things had already developed to this point, he could only try his best to resolve this matter. Senior, I don't know where you came from, but you shouldn't have come to the dojo of limits. You should know that the dojo of limits isn't a normal dojo. Even though you caught me, you forgot that I'm not the only expert in the dojo of limits. Junior, you can make your move. The black-faced man suddenly yelled. A loud boom resounded. The disciples of the dojo of limits that were originally standing fell to the ground. An invisible force instantly crushed everyone's body. Su Mei was also caught off guard by this move. Luckily, Lin Fei put a hand on Su Mei's shoulder and the invisible force disappeared. "You dare to touch my senior. You can go die now." With a loud bang, a cold shout rang out, and a figure quickly pounced over. A ray of sword light exploded into thousands of sword shadows that bombarded Lin Fei's body. It was unknown how many sword shadows were contained in this sword light. In any case, the power of this sword became very terrifying. The black-faced man who was caught in the air also had a proud smile on his face. This was the Dojo of Limits trump card. For example, the invisible force he just used was called Gravity Crush. Under normal pressure, the terrifying gravity increased by more than 7 to 8 times. No matter which fighter it was, they wouldn't be able to withstand it in one move, let alone display any fighting strength. The black-faced man dared to attack the young man because he had great confidence in the formation. The formation was personally set up by the experts of the sect behind them. Relying on gravity and this sword technique, you really think you can kill me? Lin Fei laughed loudly. Then a formless strand of sword chi charged into the sword light and swept away all the sword images. A figure retreated awkwardly. He took 3 steps back on the ground before stopping. "Master, this is the guy who caught me and injured Kai-shan." Su Mei immediately recognized this person. It was the mysterious person. The mysterious person landed on the ground. At this time, his wounds were covered with sword marks. 10x gravity, crush for me. Another loud bang. The gravity of the formation crushed down again. This time, it was even more powerful than before. The disciples of the Dojo of Limits were crushed until they vomited blood and fainted. Lin Fei put 2 fingers together and a sword light slashed over. The mysterious person blocked again and again. Sword shadows covered his body, but he was still sent flying by the sword and fell heavily to the ground. Yi Fan stomped on the ground. With a loud bang, the 10x gravity that covered his body instantly disappeared without a trace. "Little Uncle Su, that guy tried to capture you. Now that I've seriously injured him, you can settle the debt with him. Only by defeating this kind of person yourself can you make the demon in your heart retreat." Lin Fei said with a smile. "I won't let Master down." Su Mei's face was full of hatred as she pounced forward. All of this happened very quickly. The black-faced man couldn't believe it. The Dojo of Limits gravity formation was broken just like that. It was even under 10x gravity. That was 10x. Even if he was under 10x gravity, he wouldn't be able to move at all, let alone use his strength. But this young man was able to completely destroy the formation with just 1 kick. This kind of method, the black-faced man's face turned even darker. He realized that he was in trouble this time. "Senior, please be lenient. We are from the Heaven's Limit Palace. Everything can be discussed." Lin Fei looked at the black-faced man. Heaven's Limit Palace, one of the top 5 powers in the Kunlun secret realm. They really hid themselves well. They actually opened a dojo of limits in Southeast Asia. Lin Fei knew that the Dojo of Limits wasn't simple. He didn't expect that the shadow of the Heaven's Limit Palace was behind this Dojo of Limits. "Senior, this matter is the Dojo of Limits' fault. We didn't intentionally want to capture your disciple. Everything was just a misunderstanding. Our Heaven's Limit Palace is willing to compensate Senior. You can choose any cultivation technique you want." Bookhouse website. Chapter 4205. The Black-Faced Man still couldn't figure out the background of this young man. At the start, when he found out that his junior brother had captured a female evolved Jing Master with a 10,000 yin body, he was in an extremely good mood. He had even instructed his junior brother to investigate the other party's background to ensure that there wouldn't be any problems. His junior brother had assured him that nothing would go wrong and that this female evolved Jing Master was from China. She didn't have any background in China and was just an ordinary person. As for how she managed to reach the evolved Jing Master Realm, they thought that it might be due to her physique. The black-faced man was relieved. But who would have thought that Su Mei actually had such a powerful backer behind her? He and his junior brother had made their moves and even used formations, but they still weren't a match for this person. The black-faced man realized the severity of the situation and had no choice but to use the Heaven's Limit Palace. The Extreme Dojo had been in Thailand for so long, but the black-faced man had never leaked any information about the Heaven's Limit Palace. Who would have thought that he would make an exception this time? There was no other way. In the current situation, he had to use the Celestial Palace to suppress the other party. Otherwise, with his junior apprentice brother's injuries, he would definitely not be a match for Su Mei. Unless the black-faced man was willing to see his junior apprentice brother die in front of him. Your Heaven's Limit Palace really thinks that you're so great. You captured my disciple, and you think that you can make up for it with some pills and techniques? Lin Fei coldly snorted. You better watch how your junior brother is beaten to death by my disciple. The black-faced man's heart turned cold. Senior, my junior brother is from the Heaven's Limit Palace. If you kill my junior brother, the Heaven's Limit Palace will definitely not let you off. Since Senior knows about the 5 major powers of the Kunlun Secret Realm, you should also know how strong my Heaven's Limit Palace is. My Heaven's Limit Palace has a Qi refining stage expert. Pung! The black-faced man crashed into a huge pillar. It turned out that Lin Fei had sent the black-faced man flying with a slap. Don't use this to threaten me. So what if the Heaven's Limit Palace has a Qi refining stage expert? If you have the ability, then come out. If you don't have the ability, then don't talk nonsense here. The black-faced man's injuries worsened. He spat out an unknown amount of blood. He couldn't understand this young man. Was he really not afraid of the Heaven's Limit Palace? That was one of the top 5 forces in the Kunlun mystic realm. Wasn't he worried that he wouldn't be able to survive in the Kunlun mystic realm? The black-faced, burly man had never been unable to see through a person before. He couldn't see any emotions from this youth. In fact, he could only see a trace of disdain. This was the Heaven's Limit Palace they were talking about, yet someone actually dared to mock them. The black-faced man wondered if his eyes were playing tricks on him. While Lin Fei and the black-faced man were talking, Su Mei and the mysterious expert were fighting. Weren't you so majestic when you took me down before? Now if you have the ability, then continue. Su Mei's chain of palms continued to strike, raising waves of Yin wind. The mysterious expert could only passively defend himself. When the chilly wind attacked him, although he could block a part of it, his body was full of wounds. The chilly wind seeped into his body through the wounds, causing his movement speed to slow down. It was a very bad situation. Su Mei, if you have the ability, wait until I'm healed. What's the meaning of bullying people now? The mysterious expert also felt very wronged. If he hadn't been injured, he would have been able to beat down a dozen Su Mei by himself. He wouldn't have ended up in such a sorry state. Frost freeze! Su Mei shouted loudly. A surge of energy exploded within the mysterious expert's body, causing him to continuously vomit blood. He retreated again and again with blood flowing out. Next, Su Mei sent another chain of palms towards him. For a moment, the mysterious expert was flustered. He had lost any advantage and was surrounded by danger. It seemed that if he wasn't careful, he would be beaten to death by Su Mei. Lin Fei just watched quietly. Su Mei's progress was very fast. Today she fought with this expert. Although the Xiantian expert only had 10 to 20% of his strength left, he was still a Xiantian expert. In the end, Su Mei was only an evolved Jing expert. However, she had the 10,000 Yin body, which gave her an advantage in cultivation. Moreover, she also practiced Yin attribute cultivation technique. Under such circumstances, they were in a deadlock. There were a few times when Su Mei encountered the mysterious expert's trump card. Although she was slightly injured, she was able to turn misfortune into fortune. On the contrary, it was the mysterious expert who was in a bad situation. He tried to escape from the door several times, but every time he thought of doing so, an invisible sword chi would slash at him, forcing him back. He knew that it was the young man who didn't want him to leave. The mysterious man was completely desperate. It's very easy to get out of here alive. It's that easy to defeat my disciple. Lin Fei said indifferently, "Otherwise, unless you can kill me, you will have no choice but to obediently fight with my disciple." Perhaps Lin Fei's words made the mysterious man make up his mind. The next fight became more intense. Both Su Mei and the mysterious man didn't dare to take it lightly. After 30 moves, Su Mei launched a freezing move and broke the mysterious man's means in one fell swoop. Taking advantage of the other party's unstable state of mind and his strength was greatly affected. She smashed the mysterious man's heart and took his life. After the mysterious man died, Su Mei was gasping for breath. She had never fought with a Xiantian master before. The intensity of the fight was self-evident. She had walked around the gates of hell several times, but she managed to survive without any mishaps. Take the elixir first. Sit down and consolidate the battle experience just now. This is an improvement for you. A elixir floated to Su Mei. Su Mei unceremoniously swallowed it in one gulp. Then, she sat down and began to digest the battle experience silently. You really dared to kill Junior Brother Wu. You are making our Heaven's Palace your enemy. The black-faced man stared angrily at Lin Fei. Wu was a disciple of Heaven's Palace. To kill him just like that, not to mention he died in the hands of a grandmaster. He died with his eyes wide open. Lin Fei laughed as he walked over. So what if I killed Junior Brother Wu? Even if it was you, I would still kill you. A finger was pointed out. The black-faced man blocked with both his hands and felt a sharp pain in between his eyebrows. A figure appeared in front of him. Lin Fei's finger was already on the black-faced man's eyebrows. The black-faced man lost all consciousness in an instant. A moment later, he fell to the ground with a piu tong sound. Lin Fei muttered to himself, "Who asked your Heaven's Palace to offend me? From today onwards, there will no longer be a dojo of limits in Thailand." At this moment, there wasn't a single disciple left standing in the dojo of limits. Basically, all of them had fainted. Even those that remained were in a state of fear. Take your people and scram. Bookseller's website. Chapter 4206. After the people from the dojo of limits escaped, Kaishan immediately brought people in. "Master, do you want to capture all of them?" Kaishan asked after entering. Lin Fei didn't really care about the disciples of the dojo of limits. Let them escape. Since the dojo master is dead, the rest doesn't matter. If they can help you, then you can arrange for people to capture them. I don't have any opinion on that. Lin Fei added. Kaishan looked at the corpses on the ground. One of them was the dojo master, and the other was an expert with the surname Wu. These two knew each other. He couldn't help but feel a trace of regret. Who told them to offend his master? A dignified Xiantian expert fell to such a state. Lin Fei wasn't in a hurry to leave the dojo of limits. The dojo wasn't famous in Thailand, but its influence in Thailand wasn't weak. Lin Fei naturally wanted to see what was inside the dojo of limits. As for the Heaven's Peak Palace behind the dojo of limits, Lin Fei didn't really care. He more or less knew something about it. For example, qi cultivating experts. Under normal circumstances, they wouldn't come to China. Perhaps this was an invisible binding force. Of course, this kind of binding force didn't exist for Lin Fei. The dojo of limits wasn't very big. Lin Fei released his divine sense to look around. He didn't find anything. Finally, he came to a study room. "Master, this study room looks very ordinary." There doesn't seem to be a place to hide anything. Su Mei glanced at it and said, Lin Fei said with a smile, Then you are gravely mistaken. He stepped on the ground. With a kacha sound, the ground split in half. A stone staircase appeared, leading deep into the ground. It was like the entrance to hell, filled with unknown dangers. This is the place where the secret is hidden. Lin Fei walked down. As soon as he went down, he saw countless black lights attacking him. It was filled with an aura of destruction. So there was a trap set up at the entrance. Lin Fei raised his palm and slapped downwards. Next, an invisible force charged downwards. The loud rumbling lasted for quite a while. Su Mei, who was standing to the side, had a slight change in expression. She could feel a great sense of danger from the commotion below. All right, it's safe now. Lin Fei was the first to walk down. Su Mei followed behind. It turned out that there was a secret room under the study. The secret room was surrounded by reinforced concrete, and the thickness was not low, at least 20 to 30 centimeters. Even if a martial artist was underground, it would be impossible to break through this secret room. There were many things in the secret room. Master, what are these things? Why can't I understand what they are? Su Mei looked around, but did not recognize many things. The things placed here were all strange and grotesque. How could Su Mei have any experience? She only felt that it was very strange. After Lin Fei looked around, he smiled and said, It's normal for you to not recognize these things. After all, you're still lacking in experience. When you have more experience, you will naturally know what these things are. I never thought that this Heaven's Pole Palace would have some methods. They actually collected these things in the secular world. It seems like this Heaven's Pole Palace isn't some good stuff. Master, could these be bad things? Su Mei looked around and shrunk her neck. Lin Fei said, Actually, if I didn't guess wrongly, these things should be used to refine an incomparably vicious magic tool. No, it should be a magic treasure. Don't think that these things looked unremarkable. When all these things were gathered together, they could be used to refine a powerful magic treasure. Lin Fei's eyesight was not something an ordinary person could compare with. With just a glance, he was able to make a general judgment of the situation. These were the various materials used to refine magic treasures. In the Kunlun secret domain, most experts would use magic tools. Of course, magic tools were not something an ordinary expert could possess. Above magic tools were magic treasures, which were not something that just anyone could control. Lin Fei did not doubt that as long as he had a magic treasure in the Kunlun secret domain, his strength would definitely increase by a huge amount, allowing him to become a peak expert in the Kunlun secret domain. The Extreme Martial Arts School had been silently collecting all sorts of materials. This move was indeed powerful. From these materials, one could tell that they had been collecting them for a long time. Almost all the materials for the magic treasure had been collected. Lin Fei waved his hand. With a loud rumbling sound, all the materials for the magic treasure turned into fine powder, scattering on the ground. Lin Fei naturally would not leave these things for the Heaven's Pole Palace to refine magic treasures. He might as well destroy them. Since they dared to capture his own disciple, Lin Fei would not let them off just because they had killed 2 experts from the Extreme Martial Arts School. He believed that once the people from the Heaven's Pole Palace knew of this, they would definitely vomit blood. After all, these materials would require at least 10 years to gather. As for why the Heaven's Pole Palace did not have any experts guarding the place, the reason was very simple. It was because too long had passed. Coupled with the strength of the Dojo of Limits and the strength of the Extreme Martial Arts School, no one would suspect that the Extreme Martial Arts School was secretly collecting the materials for the magic treasure. In fact, this was indeed the case. Back then, the Heaven's Pole Palace had experts guarding the place. Moreover, they were at the Xiantian full circle. Coupled with the gravitational force of the array, it could be said that no matter who broke in, they would not have a good ending. Unfortunately, they met Lin Fei. Lin Fei did not care if they were at the Xiantian full circle and directly killed them. After dealing with this, Lin Fei prepared to leave. Master, there seems to be something amazing here. Su Mei suddenly discovered something strange. She pointed to an object not far away. Under the violent impact of Lin Fei's strength, there was actually an object that was not destroyed by his strength. Interesting. Lin Fei stretched out his hand and grabbed. That object flew over on its own and landed in Lin Fei's hand. So, it's a cultivation technique. Moreover, it was refined using special materials. No wonder it wasn't damaged. After Lin Fei saw that it was an ancient book, he also smiled. Master, if that's the case, then this cultivation technique should be very powerful. Su Mei said curiously, I wonder what kind of cultivation technique this is. It was actually preserved using this kind of material. Lin Fei was also a little surprised. He couldn't see through the material. Logically speaking, Lin Fei's experience was more than anyone else. There was nothing he couldn't recognize. However, he couldn't recognize this item. He had never seen it before. It was like paper, but not paper. It looked like gold, but not gold. It was as thin as a cicada's wing. It was a very strange existence. Lin Fei tried to use his strength to tear this ancient book. However, no matter how much he increased his strength, this cicada's wing-thin paper didn't move an inch. This caused Lin Fei to be very surprised. This is strange. Although I have only recovered 20% of my strength, it is enough to tear apart anything. This paper is actually able to withstand it. How strange. Booksellers reading website. Chapter 4207. Lin Fei's interest in this ancient book was piqued. He used almost 20% of his strength and still couldn't tear this ancient book apart. This was a bit thought-provoking. He opened the ancient book. Inside, it wasn't a cultivation technique. Instead, it was a travel manual. Lin Fei was very surprised. The entire travel manual didn't have a lot of words. It was only a few tens of thousands of words. It was about a student traveling around the country. It described the hardships of this student. It was as if there were 81 hardships. There wasn't anything special about the entire manual. Lin Fei handed the ancient book to Su Mei. Take a look and see if there's anything different about this travel manual. Travel, not a cultivation technique? Su Mei was shocked. She took the ancient book and flipped through it. Su Mei didn't read very quickly. Word by word, it took her around 20 minutes to finish reading. In the end, she shook her head helplessly. Master, this is a very ordinary travel manual. I really don't see anything unusual about it. However, this ancient book was completely fine after Master's attack. It definitely isn't simple. However, what this manual talks about is travel. Recently, Su Mei had crammed a lot of words into her foundation, so she could recognize the words on the book. However, Su Mei really couldn't see anything special about it. If even you can't see it, then the people from the Dojo of Limits probably can't either. However, since they left this thing here, they should know that this ancient book has some secrets. It's just that they haven't been able to solve it. Lin Fei smiled. If you really think that this is a journey, then you are gravely mistaken. In fact, there is a very powerful cultivation technique contained within it. How should I put it? If you can break up all of these words and reassemble them, you will be able to obtain a cultivation technique. Right now, even I am feeling curious. To be able to reassemble a cultivation technique into a journey. That person is truly quite capable, said Lin Fei with a smile. That's right. Su Mei's eyes widened. That's right. Hiding a cultivation technique in your travel? Isn't the hole in your brain a little too big? No wonder everyone couldn't see through it. Lin Fei didn't get anything useful from the Dojo of Limits. However, just this ancient book alone wasn't enough to make Lin Fei's trip go to waste. He was ready to take a good look at what kind of technique was hidden in this ancient book. It was worth it to go through so much trouble and travel around to change the true nature of the cultivation method. Lin Fei and Su Mei left the extreme dojo. Kai Shan did not leave. Instead, he dealt with the aftermath. First was to capture the disciples of the Dojo of Limits. These disciples weren't weak. If they were captured and controlled, their strength would be even stronger. These Dojo of Limits disciples can't fall into other people's hands. Kai Shan wouldn't do such a thing to increase their strength. Back at Kai Shan's residence, Su Mei went back to digest the experience of fighting with the mysterious man. Lin Fei, on the other hand, went to study the ancient book. Wanting to restore a cultivation technique with tens of thousands of words of travel was indeed very difficult. It required a powerful calculation ability. Even the current supercomputers would find it hard to complete it in a short period of time. However, to Lin Fei, this wasn't a big deal. He used around 3 hours to calculate the travel technique and turned it into a cultivation technique. Endless Sea of Qi. This was the cultivation technique that Lin Fei obtained. It really is an incredible cultivation technique. No wonder it was changed into a travel technique. It's a pity that the people from Heaven's Pole Palace don't have good eyesight. They actually couldn't see that this was the real deal. Lin Fei had seen countless cultivation techniques. However, this was the first time he had seen a cultivation technique like this. It actually opened up a dantian in the fleshly body to contain the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. If it was any other time, Lin Fei naturally wouldn't care about this cultivation technique. However, after flipping through this endless sea of qi, he felt that this cultivation technique was quite suitable for him to cultivate. Even though his immortal divine body had recovered quite a bit and his strength had also recovered about 20%, the further he went, the harder it would be. The purpose of Lin Fei's trip was to recover from his injuries. However, even after absorbing a large amount of spiritual energy in the Kunlun mystic realm, he only managed to recover 10% of his injuries. It would be extremely difficult for him to recover to 30%. Even if he could absorb a large amount of spiritual energy, it would still take a long time for him to fully recover. If I cultivate this endless sea of qi, I can open up a dantian in my fleshly body to contain the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. This is a different path. I don't have to worry about my strength being affected. Lin Fei narrowed his eyes. This could be considered a new attempt. If Lin Fei used his fleshly body to condense his dantian, he wouldn't have to worry about his fleshly body being unable to withstand the dense spiritual energy of heaven and earth. Lin Fei pondered over it a few more times. He was sure that the endless sea of qi was the most suitable for him to cultivate. At least that was the case for now. Unless Lin Fei was able to obtain better ingredients, such as the divine essence pill. Currently, the endless sea of qi was a shortcut to recover his strength quickly. There were no flaws in this endless sea of qi cultivation technique. In fact, it was perfect. Lin Fei could definitely cultivate it. Lin Fei was a decisive person. Since he could cultivate it, he wouldn't hesitate. After familiarizing himself with the endless sea of qi, Lin Fei started to condense his dantian. It wasn't difficult to condense a dantian. Opening up a dantian in the fleshly body required a large amount of spiritual energy of heaven and earth to rush into the fleshly body. If the fleshly body couldn't withstand the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, it wouldn't be able to open up a dantian in the fleshly body. Both were not difficult for Lin Fei. The energy in his body was like a torrent, rushing into his fleshly body and opening up a mini dantian. To others, it was difficult to cultivate the dantian, but to Lin Fei it was a piece of cake. The whirlpool spun continuously, and traces of energy constructed a dantian. From illusory to condensed. An hour later, a dantian the size of an egg appeared in his fleshly body, filled with surging energy. This energy was nothing. Lin Fei realized that the dantian was indeed quite useful. He could completely bypass his body to perform it, and it wouldn't cause any harm to his immortal body. After condensing the first dantian, Lin Fei immediately began to condense the second dantian. This time, Lin Fei did not face any obstacles, and it was extremely easy for him to condense the second dantian. If those old antiques found out about this efficiency, they would probably be shocked. With the first and second dantians, the rest was easy. That night, Lin Fei did not feel tired, and he continued to condense the dantian. 3, 4, 5. Every time he condensed another dantian, Lin Fei's strength improved a little. This feeling of flying was really good. Chapter 4208. When the first rays of the morning sun shone in, Lin Fei opened his eyes and walked out of his room. His entire being felt refreshed. Endless sea of qi. It really has a history. I'm afraid it should be a powerful cultivation method. I condensed 20 C of qi dantians in one night. Each C of qi dantian is filled with all the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. Now my strength is not restricted, and it's easier for me to use some techniques. To Lin Fei, condensing 20 C of qi dantians in one night was not very efficient. That was because the process of condensing C of qi dantian was getting slower. If the power of 20 C of qi dantians burst out at the same time, he would be at the peak of qi refinement realm. There was no need to worry about affecting his injuries. Starting from cultivating endless sea of qi, Lin Fei realized that he would have to cultivate endless sea of qi for a period of time in the future. Although this method was a shortcut to improve his strength, it was the most powerful help for Lin Fei. Endless sea of qi might seem easy to cultivate, but the prerequisite was a strong body. Without a strong body, it was impossible to open up sea of qi dantian. This was the biggest requirement. Swish, swish, swish. More than a dozen sword lights flew out from behind Lin Fei. They were all condensed by power and turned into a sword formation. Lin Fei had not used the sword formation for a long time. Using the sword formation now would still consume a lot of energy. However, it was also a killer move that could be used both offensively and defensively. This sword formation was called the Great Void Sword Formation. The Great Void Sword Formation could be used as a powerful technique. Of course, this move consumed a lot of energy. If one did not have a lot of energy in his body, he would not be able to use it. Lin Fei used it freely as if it was an arm. After using it for a while, Lin Fei put it away. After a night of digesting, Su Mei was still very helpful to her. Master, I plan to stay in Thailand and fight with those people. I feel that the people here are very fierce. Fighting with them will be of great help to me. Su Mei came over and said. Lin Fei was not surprised by Su Mei's words. After experiencing it a few times, Su Mei had grown a lot. Staying behind and continuing to gain experience was a very good thing. As your master, I am very happy that you have such considerations. Don't worry, even if I am not here this time, no one will be able to hurt you. Lin Fei called Kaishan over to prepare a series of things. He guessed that they had already prepared some on the mountain last time. However, he had ordered people to prepare some more, and the quality was better than the last time. Master, are you going to write? Su Mei didn't understand. Lin Fei said, This is not writing, but drawing a talisman. This talisman is not an ordinary talisman. I drew it for you to protect your life. When the time comes, even if an expert comes, he will suffer a great loss. Lin Fei adjusted his state of mind. His essence, qi, and spirit were in full swing. In an instant, he was like a great grandmaster. He picked up the brush and started to draw talismans. What Lin Fei drew was a sword talisman with great attack power. It could explode with superpower and was most suitable to use against enemies. As the saying goes, the strongest defense is active offense. If the enemy was defeated, there was naturally no need to defend. Su Mei stood behind. Although she couldn't recognize what was written on the yellow paper, she could feel a sharp aura from the words. It was as if everything in front of this aura would be split apart by a sword. It was rather terrifying. The first sword talisman was quickly drawn. When the sword talisman was completed, a bright light flashed silently. Only Lin Fei could see it. The sword talisman was finished. Lin Fei handed the sword talisman to Su Mei. This is a sword talisman. Drip your blood on it first. When the time comes, it will protect you. Su Mei successfully dripped her blood to refine the sword talisman. After refining it, the sword talisman flew around Su Mei. It was very incredible. This sword talisman can explode with a total of 10 attacks. The strength of each attack is the same. Even if a Kane expert comes to capture you, with my sword talisman he will be heavily injured in 1 strike and killed in 2 strikes. Lin Fei said, "Thank you, Master." Su Mei was very happy. She couldn't bear to part with the sword talisman. After Lin Fei drew a sword talisman, he drew a Vajra unyielding talisman for Su Mei. Once it was used, it would form a strong defense around her body. Even a Kane expert would find it hard to break it. Other than that, Lin Fei gave Kai Shan a sword talisman. After all, Kai Shan would be guarding the entrance to the Kunlun mystic realm for him in Southeast Asia for a period of time. Although there were restrictions outside, there still needed to be someone to watch over it. "Oh right, Kai Shan. I really like a region in the deep mountains. I want to take that place." Lin Fei thought of something. A place like the entrance to the Kunlun mystic realm had to be under his control. If it was in China, it might be difficult. However, this was Southeast Asia. Kai Shan was the #1 expert in Southeast Asia. Naturally, Lin Fei would have some ideas. "I wonder which area Master wants." Kai Shan found a map. It was a very detailed one. Very quickly, Lin Fei found a rough area. He picked up a pen and drew. "This is the area. I want it." Kai Shan said, "This kind of place is not worth much in Southeast Asia. If Master wants it, I will definitely help Master get it. It's just a matter of money. My relationship with the royal family is not bad. If I suggest it, they won't have any objections. Just say that I like that place and want to build a villa in that area. Then I'll leave this matter to you." Lin Fei said, "It's about time for you to increase your strength. It just so happens that I brought some pills this time. Take them and consume them. It shouldn't take long for you to become a true Kane expert. In addition to my sword talisman, you should be able to hold the fort." After making the arrangements, Lin Fei boarded the plane and headed to England. After all, Lin Fei was quite concerned about the Dragon God Key. There was still the Dragon God's blood in the mystic realm. No matter what, he had to go take a look. Su Mei had Kai Shan's protection, so there shouldn't be any problems. Moreover, the sword talisman in his hands was not to be trifled with, unless there was an Kane expert willing to test the power of the sword talisman. On this trip to England, there were no accidents, and no one came to disturb him. Speaking of which, this was the first time Lin Fei went abroad, and it was to England. When he woke up, the plane had already arrived in England. This time, Lin Fei treated it as a vacation. There were not many people here, so naturally there was no need to inform them. Lin Fei did not know if those people had arrived. Calculating the time, there was still half a month, so naturally he was not in a hurry. After stopping a car, Lin Fei went to a relatively famous Four Seasons hotel in England and stayed there. As for not knowing English, it was simple. Lin Fei used a small trick to take away the ability to speak English from a Caucasian and easily learned English. Chapter 4209. After staying at the Four Seasons Hotel, Lin Fei was not in a hurry to find Yi Zixuan and the others. In the following 3 days, Lin Fei had a very leisurely time, tasting the unique delicacies of England and walking around. In the eyes of outsiders, it was as if he had come to England for a vacation. But who knew that Lin Fei was secretly observing the feng shui of England and so on? If he didn't look, he wouldn't have known, but he was really shocked. This place was quite famous in England. There were many things that Lin Fei was interested in. For example, at night, Lin Fei could see some guys who were brimming with a strong aura of qi and blood. These guys were like ghosts in the night. Lin Fei thought of a word, and that was the famous vampires in the Western world. He couldn't guarantee whether these people were vampires or not, but it had something to do with them. Lin Fei's view of the Western world was very different. Perhaps when he was young, he thought it was just a joke, but now that he was really standing in a place like England, he knew that this joke was not groundless. Another day of shopping in England. Lin Fei returned to the Four Seasons Hotel and took a comfortable bath. Then he received a call from Bai Xingnan. To put it nicely, it should be a video call. Bai Xingnan was lying on her bed, wearing pink pajamas. She was cute and seductive. Bai Xingnan giggled at Lin Fei. "You really know how to run, big boss." In the blink of an eye, you ran to England. Lin Fei said generously, "I have nothing to do, so I came out to take a look." On the other hand, you, the lady boss, look quite relaxed. Could it be that you conquered a few more areas? Ever since he handed over all the matters of the company to Bai Xingnan, Lin Fei really didn't manage the company much, but he could hear some good news from Bai Xingnan every time. "Of course, don't you know who I am? With your Yunshu materials, our company's shapewear and other different products have become popular all over the country. We have basically taken over all the domestic markets. It won't be long before our Yunshu products become the leading products in China." Bai Xingnan's face was brimming with a bright smile and happiness. Lin Fei liked seeing the satisfied smile on Bai Xingnan's face. Bringing Yun Su from another world to Huaxia was not in vain. "Big boss, since you're already in England, I have a small matter here. Can I trouble you?" As they chatted, Bai Xingnan suddenly said, as if she had thought of something, "You've already called me big boss. If I don't agree, I probably won't even be able to climb into your bed when I go back. I don't like to sleep on the sofa alone at night. Manager Bai's words are like an imperial edict. How could I dare to disobey?" Bai Xingnan, who was on the other side of the phone, burst into laughter. She rebuked, "You're such a flirt, and you're not being honest at all. Actually, it's not that difficult. My cousin is studying in England, so I want you to visit my cousin on my behalf. My cousin is a great beauty. She's the epitome of a fair, rich, and beautiful woman." When Lin Fei heard this, he didn't know whether to laugh or cry. What is this? Even if your cousin is fair, rich, and beautiful, so what? Can this fair, rich, and beautiful woman be more beautiful than you? In my eyes, you're the real fair, rich, and beautiful one. If you're not fair, rich, and beautiful, what else can you be? Bai Xingnan rolled her eyes. "I knew it. Are you going or not?" "Of course I'm going," Lin Fei said with a smile. "Give me an address later. I'll go see your cousin tomorrow. By the way, what do you want to say to your cousin? Also, should I bring a gift over? I'll listen to you." These days, Lin Fei didn't have anything to do. Yi Zixuan and the others didn't come, so Lin Fei wasn't in a hurry. It wasn't a big deal to visit Bai Xingnan's cousin. Hearing that Lin Fei agreed to visit her cousin, Bai Xingnan's face was brimming with a bright smile. "Just visit my cousin for me. By the way, my cousin's name is Yang Liushi. What do you think? Doesn't the name sound very poetic? I heard that it was named by a master." After chatting with Bai Xingnan for a while, Lin Fei hung up the phone. Not long after, Lin Fei received an address from Bai Xingnan on his phone. It turned out to be a university in England. Lin Fei was proficient in English now. He looked it up on the internet and found that this university was very amazing. It had nurtured many talented students. Thinking about the Bai family's identity, it wasn't too much for Bai Xingnan's cousin to have such a high education level. The next morning, Lin Fei stopped a taxi and went to the university mentioned on the address. The university wasn't very far from Sijiqing. It only took him half an hour to get there. The university was very big, and the buildings inside were all in the medieval style. Lin Fei swaggered into the university. Compared to the universities in the country, this university was very different. It made Lin Fei feel a scholarly atmosphere. It was a very reading atmosphere. Lin Fei found a few students who were studying in China to ask Yang Liushi. However, these people said that they didn't know. After a round, Lin Fei didn't find Yang Liushi. Lin Fei felt a little helpless. Did Shengnan not talk to my cousin? Or is Yang Liushi not in the university? Disappointed, Lin Fei planned to leave the university. When he was at the entrance of the university, he met another international student. One of them was the one Lin Fei had just asked. "You're from China, right? If you want to find Yang Liushi, maybe you can find her boyfriend." "You should know," another Chinese student said. "Yang Liushi has a boyfriend?" The Chinese student said, "It's a white boyfriend. I heard that her boyfriend is a master." "Yes, he seems to be a master of gambling. He likes to go to casinos." Yang Liushi is also a person who likes to seek excitement. Maybe you can find her in the casino. The Chinese student took out a pen and paper, wrote down the name of the casino, and handed it to Lin Fei. "This is the casino they often go to, and it's also the most influential casino in our area. You can go there and take a look. Maybe you'll be lucky enough to find her." Lin Fei thanked the other party and got into the taxi again. He frowned slightly. This is a little different from what Bai Shangnan said. No matter what, Lin Fei still decided to go and take a look. After all, he had promised Bai Shangnan. If he didn't see his cousin, he wouldn't know what to say when she asked him at night. "Chinese, are you planning to go first?" the driver asked curiously. "You know too?" Lin Fei said with a smile. The driver said, "We all know that it's a money-squandering den. It's the world of the rich." Bookseller's website. Chapter 4210. 1938. This was the name of a casino. It was purely calculated with English numbers. 1938 was very famous in this part of England. When Lin Fei arrived at the casino, he saw a lot of people going in and out. At the same time, Lin Fei also saw a lot of Chinese people appearing in this casino. When Lin Fei walked into the casino, he noticed that perhaps because of the Chinese people, the security guards at the entrance, that is, those white men, looked at him a few more times with a strange look in their eyes. There was even a trace of a hunter who caught his prey. Lin Fei never thought that he would be wrong about this kind of look. This 1938 casino is really interesting. Lin Fei pretended that he didn't know anything. He walked into the casino. The casino was very big, comparable to the casinos in Macau, or even much bigger. Now Lin Fei understood why the driver had said that in the car. 1938 was indeed one of the most famous casinos in this area. "Sir, this is your first time coming to 1938, right? I don't know if you need a guide. I feel that a customer like you really needs a gorgeous guide. She can teach you all the games in the casino, and it doesn't cost too much." Lin Fei had just taken a few glances when a Caucasian man came up to him and asked with a smile, "Thank you, I don't need one for the time being." After hearing that, the white man didn't leave immediately but continued to say, "Friend, I think you really need a beautiful guide. Because there are a lot of games in this casino, any newcomer wants to find a beautiful woman to accompany him. Also, the beauties here are not expensive, and the amount of tips depends on your personal preference. No matter what kind of beauty you need, our casino has everything." The white man continued to say, "Sir, you can look around. Those are the beautiful guides of our casino." The white man pointed at the beautiful women beside the men in the distance. Lin Fei looked over and found that it was really as he said. There were all kinds of beautiful women, pleasing to the eye. Originally, Lin Fei didn't want to call them, but after hearing that, he became interested. "Okay, find me a Chinese beauty." The white man seemed to be very happy and quickly said, "Don't worry, sir. I will help you find it immediately. Please wait here for a moment." In fact, this short wait did not take long. Lin Fei saw the Caucasian man coming over with a female student who was about 20 years old. Why did he say she was a female student? Lin Fei sensed a childish aura from her. Even though it was covered by makeup, it still couldn't escape Lin Fei's eyes. She must be a female university student studying here. Nice to meet you, sir. I'm your little tour guide tonight. You can call me Xiao Xiao. The Caucasian man brought him over and said a few words before leaving. The female university student introduced herself. The girl named Xiao Xiao, after introducing herself, held onto Lin Fei's hand and leaned half of her body against his. Sir, what kind of game are you planning to play? I know all the projects here very well. Even if it's your first time here, it doesn't matter if you don't understand. Lin Fei admired the methods of this 1938 casino. Using a beautiful woman as a guide in the casino would indirectly make people bet crazily in the casino. After all, no one could resist the coquettishness of a woman. Then just walk around with me, Lin Fei said. As Xiao Xiao walked, she introduced the situation of the casino to Lin Fei. She was very familiar with the situation here. Very quickly, Lin Fei had a general understanding of the place. The casino here was very big. It operated dozens of projects and also had some game machines. As Lin Fei walked, he looked around. After a while, he found that the upper floor seemed to be more lively than the lower floor. Most importantly, Lin Fei seemed to have inadvertently seen a figure. Even though this wasn't the first time he had seen this figure, he remembered it very clearly. This figure was the cousin that Bai Shengnan had mentioned, Yang Liuxi. Anyone who was looked at by Lin Fei would not forget. The person up there was definitely Yang Liuxi. Is there a casino up there? It looks different from the one below, Lin Fei asked with a smile. Xiao Xiao explained, this is a VIP's place. Only those with a certain amount of wealth can go up to the second floor. Perhaps you can only go up to the second floor if you win enough chips in the casino. After listening to the explanation, Lin Fei understood. He immediately led Xiao Xiao to the second floor. At first, Xiao Xiao was a little worried and surprised. However, who knew that the man in black at the door didn't seem to see Lin Fei and allowed them to go up to the second floor. The look in Xiao Xiao's eyes clearly changed. Mr. Lin, are you a nouveau riche? Or are you a regular here? Why haven't I seen you before? Xiao Xiao had accompanied many people, but they were all ordinary gamblers. She had never met anyone who went up to the second floor. Naturally, she wanted to get to know this nouveau riche in front of her. Lin Fei gave a few perfunctory replies. He searched for Yang Liuxi in the crowd. That's her. Not long after, Lin Fei saw a figure. It was Yang Liuxi. However, Yang Liuxi was a little different from what Lin Fei had imagined. At this time, Yang Liuxi was gorgeously dressed. She looked a little similar to Xiao Xiao. What made Lin Fei feel a little strange was that Yang Liuxi's expression seemed to be very frightened and nervous. Beside him stood two black-robed men who seemed to be guarding him. There's no way I'll lose this round. I'll definitely win. At the gambling table, a young man with curly hair stood up. His expression became very nervous. His eyes stared at the cards in his hand and slowly revealed them. Sitting opposite him was also a middle-aged man. He was smoking a cigar and looked indifferent. This round you have no chance at all. I know you are very good, but you will definitely lose this time. Your Chinese girlfriend is not bad. Don't worry. I will definitely let her enjoy our Western etiquette tonight. The young man flipped the cards in his hand. His eyes widened and he fell to the ground. How can this be? I clearly remember that it was a king of diamonds. How did it become a three of spades? The young man couldn't accept the scene in front of him. He almost broke down. The middle-aged man opposite him slowly revealed the card in his hand. It was the king of diamonds. Sorry, my points are a little higher than yours. All the chips on your table, including the beautiful lady behind you, will become my spoils of war. It's over, it's over. The young man hugged his head. Hunter, tell me you didn't lose. The gorgeously dressed woman was also in a panic. Bookseller's website. Chapter 42:11. Let me go, don't grab me. The gorgeously dressed girl was grabbed by two big men. Hunter, come and save me. I don't want to go with him. The young man called Hunter held his head and muttered to himself. It's over, it's really over. I have nothing left. It was as if he didn't hear the gorgeously dressed girl. The surrounding people were already used to the scene. There's something wrong with this person. Lin Fei, who was standing at the entrance to the second floor, narrowed his eyes. No one could see it more clearly than him. By Xingnan's cousin. I thought she was highly educated, but it turns out her EQ is so low. She doesn't even know that she's being schemed against. I bet they've been waiting for this day to come. A cold light flashed in Lin Fei's eyes. If it was someone else, Lin Fei couldn't be bothered to care. However, this person was Bai Xingnan's cousin, and she had personally instructed him to do so. He couldn't just let this happen. Lin Fei didn't even need to think to know that if the middle-aged man brought Yang Liuxi back, the consequences would be unimaginable. Whether or not she could return to school was a problem. Even if she could, she would probably be crippled. Xiao, what's going on over there? Do you guys block people in your casino? Lin Fei asked Xiao with a smile. Xiao was already used to the scene. She said with a smile, Mr. Lin, you may not know this, but this is the exclusive way to play in the VIP venue. You can bet everything you own or anything around you as long as you win. But if you lose, all of your belongings will be taken away by others, and all of this will be approved by the casino. In other words, that Chinese girl is really out of luck. Lin Fei smiled. Then your casino is quite interesting. You can actually play this kind of game. Doesn't that mean that if I go and gamble with them, I can bet you? Xiao's face suddenly turned cold. Mr. Lin, don't joke around. We're just the casino's guides. You're a little timid. I was just joking with you. Xiao heaved a sigh of relief. Mr. Lin, please don't scare me like this next time, okay? By the way, how many chips do I need to get on the gambling table? I'm quite interested in that. Lin Fei asked. I remember that the gambling table only needs 30 million yuan, which is equivalent to $5 million US. Xiao said after thinking for a while. I think it's quite interesting. Let's go and play a few rounds. Mr. Lin, you're amazing. Xiao's face was full of smiles. The middle-aged man who won this round stood up. He was a white man named Alan. He was a frequent customer of this casino. Every time he came, he would return with a full load. Hunter, I've received your gift tonight. If you want to bet with me again next time, please inform me in advance. Alan was ready to bring them back. When he looked at Yang Liuxi, a trace of cruel desire flashed through his eyes, and then this trace of desire was put away. No one present saw it. Yang Liuxi had lost all hope. No matter how much she shouted, her boyfriend, Hunter, did not seem to hear her. He kept talking to himself, as if his body and mind were about to collapse. This was not what Yang Liuxi wanted to see. She had heard that this Alan was especially fond of foreign women. At the same time, this Alan was a very cruel person. It was said that none of the women he brought back had a good ending. Even if they made it out alive, they would be bedridden for 3 to 5 months. This was not the first time Yang Liuxi had heard of such a thing. She never thought that she would become a foreign woman in Alan's hands. She did not dare to imagine what would happen if she went in. But no matter how much Yang Liuxi struggled, she could not break free from the dark-skinned man's hands. Alan walked over with a smile, revealing a mouthful of white teeth. He said in a very gentlemanly manner, "Beautiful lady, you don't have to struggle anymore. You're my guest tonight. I'll give you a very precious gift that you won't forget for the rest of your life. I don't want your gift. Let go of me. My family has money. As long as you give me a number, I'll definitely give you the money." Yang Liuxi seemed to have thought of something and said repeatedly. Alan laughed. "Beautiful lady, I'm afraid you've misunderstood. I'm not short of money. I only like the spoils of war that I've won in the casino. I won't take out the spoils of war that I've won. Alan had already planned to bring this beautiful young Liushi back. He had not tasted a Chinese woman in a very long time. From what you've said, as long as there's something good, you'll be able to go to the gambling table. A voice rang out. Alan turned around and saw a young Chinese man appear in his sight. His expression turned cold. You want to gamble with me too, kid? Lin Fei said. Yeah, I'm quite interested in gambling. I like to gamble with all kinds of things. I don't know if this thing of mine will catch your eye. Lin Fei took something out of his pocket and casually threw it on the gambling table not far away. Is this jewelry? It looks like pearls and gems. Some people looked at it curiously, but they did not recognize it at first. Alan did not recognize it either. You have the nerve to take out such a broken thing. Alan snorted. Lin Fei walked over, picked up the red stone ball and patted it lightly. Hua, 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 hua. The originally red stone ball instantly became transparent. There were traces of flames flickering inside the stone. Everyone could even feel the penetrating aura of the flames. One by one, their eyes widened as if they had seen a peerless treasure. This is amazing. Yeah. Unbelievable. Everyone was shocked. This is a stone ball that I obtained by chance in a place. It looks a little ordinary, but there's a flame hidden in it. When you hold this bead in your hand, you can feel the warm aura. It's a very comfortable warmth. I guarantee that everyone will like this feeling. If you don't believe me, you can give it a try. Lin Fei threw it casually, and the bead flew in Alan's direction. Alan subconsciously reached out and grabbed the bead in his hand. In an instant, a warm aura spread from his palm, and then reverberated throughout his body. After a moment of silence, Alan's eyes lit up. Are you sure you want to gamble with this treasure? For me, this is just something that I picked up. I don't know how much this treasure can be sold for. Alan looked at the stone ball in his palm again, raised his head again, and said, 30 million, no more. Okay, 30 million it is. I can just gamble a few times. Shikju website. Chapter 4212. What are you going to play? Alan asked Lin Fei. I'm not interested in 5-card stud. Let's play something simple, such as gambling with dice. I wonder if you're interested? Lin Fei said casually. Alan was a little surprised. Dice? You're quite an interesting guy. Let's play dice then. Best of 3. I wonder if you dare. Alan was also a smart guy. Lin Fei suggested playing dice. Alan changed the rules and made it a best of 3. All right, 2 wins out of 3. I have no objections. Lin Fei's lips curled up slightly as he spoke with a smile. Cut the crap. Let's start, Alan said to the beautiful dealer. There was no need to say anything else. The beautiful dealer immediately found the dice. The onlookers were also looking forward to it. The stone ball contained a flame within it. It was very mystical, and anyone could tell that it was a very expensive item. Whether it was taken out to be auctioned or placed at home, it would be a good choice. Yang Liushi was very surprised. She didn't know the young man in front of her at all. She didn't expect him to take the initiative to stand out. Help me? Wait, is this person the boyfriend of my cousin by Shangnan? Yang Liushi suddenly thought of something, and her expression changed slightly. Just a few days ago, her cousin, by Shangnan, who was in China, had called her and said that someone would come to England to visit her in a few days. At that time, Yang Liushi only took it as a small joke and didn't take it seriously. Now it seemed that this person was Bai Xingnan's cousin's friend. Oh no, this is really bad. He will definitely tell my cousin. Yang Liushi became nervous. After all, she had been studying abroad. In the eyes of her family, she had always been a good girl. But now no one would believe this scene. Her heart was in a mess. Lin Fei and Alan sat down. Before we play the dice, there is something I want to confirm, Lin Fei suddenly said. Alan said, I don't know what you want to confirm, or if I can't afford it. Lin Fei shook his head with a smile. I'm just confirming what I'll win after 2 wins out of 3. Is it your chips or everything else you've won today? For example, this Huaxia beauty. Is she also in today's best of 3? Alan laughed heartily. So that's how it is. I understand now. As long as you can beat me, this Chinese girl will be yours tonight. I, Alan, am a man of my word. Everyone in the casino knows my reputation. That's good. Let's begin. The best of 3 dice system was actually very simple. The 2 people did not take the initiative to shake the dice. Instead, the dealer used a machine to shake the dice. Then both sides would guess the big or small. Using a machine to shake the dice could eliminate many suspicions of cheating. So shaking the dice was more like relying on luck. The dice kept shaking back and forth in the machine, making a series of sounds until it finally stopped. In order to increase the difficulty and also increase the gambling, we'll only play guessing for these 3 rounds. Alan suddenly said with a smile, Huaxia kid, you don't have any objections, right? Lin Fei could clearly see a trace of pride on Alan's face. Although he did not know why Alan was proud, it was not difficult to guess that he must have some experience with dice points. Guessing points? Are you sure? Lin Fei looked at Alan. You should know that I'm quite experienced in guessing numbers. I'm afraid that you'll lose 3 rounds in a row if you win 2 out of 3. Alan laughed heartily. You don't have any objections to guessing points. Then let's just guess points. At this moment, the beautiful dealer said, after both sides guess points, the person who is closest wins. I don't know if the 2 of you have any objections. Alan and Lin Fei both shook their heads, indicating that they did not have any objections. Alan's heart was full of pride. Although he did not play dice much, when it came to guessing points, although he would not be able to guess the specific points 5 or 6 times out of 10, he would be able to get the closest to the guess points within a certain range. Alan rarely told this secret to others because he had a strong 6th sense. Most of the time it was not too far off. Since this young Chinese kid wanted to play dice with him, he might as well just play. Huaxia kid, you're a guest, and I'm a veteran here. I'll let you guess the points first, lest you say that it's unfair. Alan put on airs. All right, whatever you say. I have no objections. Lin Fei said with a smile. Just guessing the dice points. I think it's purely based on luck. I think this round will be 18, 3 6s. Alan immediately laughed when he heard this. Young people are young people. How can you shake out 18 points with 3 6s? Casinos only opened a few times in a month, not to mention that they ran into one. 18 is indeed a good number, but I don't think it's a good number today. I think it should be 9. Alan looked at the machine and said after thinking for a while. One guessed 18 and the other guessed 9. It was a multiple, which made many people curious. Of course, most people still approved of Alan. Are the 2 of you sure? The dealer confirmed. Alan and Lin Fei both nodded, indicating that they had no objections. The beautiful dealer turned on the machine. There were 3 dice lying in the machine. The front of each dice was a 6. There were exactly 3 6s. Leopard, 18 points. The expressions of the beautiful lady and the dealer changed slightly. They immediately smiled and said, 3 6s. This gentleman has won the first round. Alan's expression was obviously a little stiff. He found it hard to believe that he could even guess 3 6s. Moreover, it was an accurate number. His luck was too good. I'm sorry. I won the first round. It seems that my luck is pretty good. Lin Fei said with a smile. Young and promising. Alan also laughed. However, his expression was a little insincere. The second round began. This time, it was Alan's turn to speak first. This time, Alan looked dignified. He opened his mouth much later than the last time. I guess the points for this round are 12, fluctuating between 11 and 13. Alan said. Lin Fei said without looking, I think this round should be 8. What an auspicious number. Alan really didn't believe that Lin Fei would guess correctly. Open. Everyone pricked up their ears. 1, 3, 5, 9 points. The beautiful dealer announced. I lost. Alan stood up and held the gambling table. He found it hard to accept. Yes, you lost. Booksellers reading website. Chapter 42:13. 2 wins out of 3. Everyone was shocked that the Chinese kid would win in the end. There was also a tinge of disbelief. One had to know that Alan was a regular here. He had a certain level of ability. He didn't expect to lose so badly. Alan couldn't believe it either. He didn't even win a single round in the best of 3, and lost just like that. Not only did he lose all the chips on the table, but he also lost the Chinese girl that he could enjoy immediately. In order to enjoy this Chinese girl, Alan had put in a lot of effort. Finally, this piece of meat was in front of him, but it was snatched away by this kid. Alan couldn't accept it. Pretty lady, you can come over now, Lin Fei said to Yang Liuxi with a smile. Yang Liuxi felt like she was dreaming. But no matter what, this Chinese kid in front of her did her a great favor. Yang Liuxi opened the man behind her and ran behind Lin Fei. The 2 men didn't dare to stop her. After all, this was the 1938 casino, and they were rather particular about their reputation. If they really dared to stop her, they wouldn't have a good ending. They were well aware of this in their hearts. I'm going to take all the chips on the table and this pretty lady, Lin Fei said with a smile. Alan wasn't willing to give up just like that. Hold on, Chinese kid, Alan said quickly. I think we can have another round. Lin Fei squinted his eyes. You still have chips? I wonder what you're going to bet with me. Alan said, Isn't it just money? I'll take out $30 million and let's bet again. But this time let's not bet on dice. How about stud? Lin Fei shook his head. You're thinking too much if you want to bet with me for $30 million. I have more than 30 million chips on the table now. Is there something wrong with your head? Lin Fei's words hit Alan like a stick. There were indeed more than 30 million chips on the table now. In addition to the chips that Alan had won, it was more than 30 million. Using 30 million to bet with Lin Fei was definitely a huge advantage for him. Isn't it just money? Who doesn't have money? 60 million? Let's bet a few more rounds. Alan gritted his teeth. After all, he had lost to this Chinese kid today. The fat meat that was in his mouth was gone. Alan was somewhat unwilling to accept it. No matter what, he had to win this round back. 60 million? That's more like it. But I'm in a hurry. After all, there's such a beautiful girl around. How can this be more interesting than playing with girls? I'll only bet once at most. I just don't know if you're interested. Lin Fei said lazily. When the people around heard this, they were secretly shocked. This Huaxia kid is really bold. He actually played once for 60 million. This kid is really too rich to be stupid. Who knows? Anyway, I know that Chinese people are very rich. Maybe this person is another rich second generation. Hee, 60 million just for one round. I'm impressed. This time, it was Alan's turn to be shocked. For a moment, he had misjudged this Chinese kid. $60 million for a round. Even if he was rich, he wouldn't dare to play like that. No matter who it was, no one would have so much money to play such a game. What? You're not willing? If you're not willing, then forget it, Lin Fei said with a smile. Who asked me to be young? I like to decide life and death in one round. The more he said this, the more unhappy Alan felt. He didn't even suspect that this young man knew Yang Liuxi. It was definitely Qiao, or who had met her just now. Alan had played with many people before, but he had never seen such an arrogant Chinese kid. He actually played 60 million in one round. He really didn't take him seriously. All right, isn't it just 60 million? I can afford to lose. Let's play a round of stud. Alan gritted his teeth and said, You have to put this Chinese beauty, the 30 million chips on the table, and that artifact on the table. Lin Fei said, No problem. We can let the referee be the notary. Whoever wins can take it. I have no objections. Since it involved such a big bet, the higher-ups of the casino immediately came over to be the notary. At the same time, they found a new dealer. She was also a beautiful dealer with a hot figure and a pair of seductive eyes. She opened the poker cards and shuffled them directly. It was a dazzling sight. One look and one could tell that this dealer was also a beautiful expert. The two drew cards to compare the size of the cards. In the end, Alan's cards were big. Therefore, the first round of dealing was given to Alan. After that, it was the second card. Alan's card was the ace of spades and Lin Fei's card was a 10. Since they were both decided in one round, there was naturally no need to raise the stakes. Alan's face also looked a lot better. It seems that my luck is better than yours. Just my ace is bigger than your 10. Alan didn't look at his cards. He looked very confident. Lin Fei said with a smile, "It's just an ace of spades. It's not a big deal. If I had a pair of 10, it would be bigger than your ace of spades." The third card, Alan's card, was AK. Lin Fei's card was a 5, which was even fewer. Yang Liushi, who was standing behind, was a little surprised and nervous. "I can't lose. I definitely can't lose." Yang Liushi could only pin her hopes on this young Chinese guy. She hoped that he was really her cousin by Xingnan's friend. Otherwise, if she was brought back by Alan, she didn't dare to imagine what would happen to her. As for calling the police, Yang Liushi didn't even dare to think about it. One had to know that the 1938 casino had a lot of connections. Now, Yang Liushi really regretted coming here with her boyfriend, Hunter. Originally, she had only come here to gain some experience and seek some excitement. How could she have known that Hunter would lose so badly? This was completely different from the past. In Yang Liushi's eyes, Hunter had always been a champion in the casino. He would win every time he played. However, this time, it was as if he had met his nemesis and lost in a mess. "Look, my cards are bigger than yours again," Alan said with a smile. His eyes became even brighter. Lin Fei's expression was very calm. "Until the last moment, who knows who will win or lose? I still feel that I will win because my luck is very good. In your Western words, I am blessed by the goddess of luck." The fourth card, Alan's card, was a queen and Lin Fei's card was a 6. In total, both sides were dealt 4 cards. At this moment, Alan's cards were the biggest. Lin Fei's hand was a small deck of cards. The small cards were mixed up and he had no chance of winning at all. The biggest card was only a 10. Alan laughed very happily. "Ha ha 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 ha, looks like I'm going to win this." Bookseller's website. Chapter 42:14. That kid is going to lose this time. Exactly. The cards are so small. It's just a small deck. Alan's biggest ace of spades is bigger than his 10. If nothing goes wrong, that Chinese kid is going to lose. This is called a disaster caused by greed. I also admire that Alan. He's actually willing to make such a big bet with that Chinese kid. This is a big scene in 1938. I remember there hasn't been such a big scene in more than half a year. As spectators, they shook their heads. At first, they thought that the kid would be very good. Otherwise, he wouldn't have said that the winner would be decided in one round. Who would have thought that the ending would be like this? They had gotten the smallest deck of cards. "Chinese kid, it seems like I'm also better than you at the last card." Alan looked at his cards and smiled. His face was very proud because his current cards were Old A, Old K, Old Q, and Old J. If there was another 10, it would be a straight. Although it wouldn't be a straight flush, it would still be a very big hand. On the other hand, on Lin Fei's side, there was a 10, a 9, a 6, and a 5. It was a mess. Even if his trump card was an ace, he would definitely lose. Lin Fei chuckled. "This is called excitement, okay? This is what it means to decide the winner with 60 million. Alan was also impressed by this Chinese kid. It had already come to this, and he still didn't want to surrender. Did he really think that he could turn the situation around and win this round? Although he hadn't seen his trump card, judging from the current cards, he was definitely going to win. Young man, it's really rare to see someone like you with such a mentality. However, I still have to teach you a lesson. Luck is never reliable. Alan reached out to flip his cards. Let me show you what it means to win. Everyone was looking forward to it. His trump card was flipped open. Exclamations of surprise could be heard. What a pity. What a pity. It's actually a 3. Even if it's a 3, so what? Mr. Allen still has a very big chance of winning. After all, his biggest card is the ace of spades, and that kid only has a 10. Allen saw that it was a 3. Although he was very disappointed when he looked at his opponent's cards, it was obvious that his chances of winning were higher. He would definitely win this round. Young man, did you see that? My biggest card is an ace of spades. Even if your last card is an ace, you're still going to lose. Show me a pair if you can. Alan smiled at Lin Fei, his face full of pride. Based on his many years of experience, the opponent's trump card should not be big, and the probability of it being a loose card was relatively high. At this moment, Yang Liushi also raised her guard. After all, the opponent's highest card was the ace of spades. Even though it was just an inferior ace, it was still a very powerful card. A couplet. I think the possibility is quite high. Lin Fei said with a smile, Beauty, you don't want to lose again, right? Then you can reveal this card. I believe that your luck is very good. Lin Fei didn't reveal the plaque, instead smiling at Yang Liushi. Ah, you want me to reveal my trump card? Yang Liushi was a little surprised, suspecting that she had heard wrongly. Yes, I always say that the hands of a beauty are very fragrant. Since my cards are so bad now, why not let the beauty help me reveal it? No matter what it is, I won't blame you. Lin Fei said with a smile. Under this smile, Yang Liushi didn't feel nervous at all. She felt a sense of respect. Sir, it's better if you do it yourself. I'm afraid that the trump card I reveal is not good. Yang Liushi said. Lin Fei said in an indifferent tone, It doesn't matter. Anyway, the moment the trump card is revealed, the outcome of this round has already been decided. I just believe in luck. I believe that the hands of a beauty will definitely bring my luck back. Don't you want to reveal a good trump card? With this, Yang Liushi realized that they were still in a gambling game. If she lost this round, she would be taken away by Alan again. It was impossible for her to count on her boyfriend now. Instead, the person in front of her might be her cousin's friend. Okay, then I'll reveal my trump card. If I reveal a small card, don't blame me, sir. No. After all, beauties have rights. Yang Liushi was amused by these words and chuckled. She changed her previous panic and uneasiness and reached out to grab the trump card. Yang Liushi's fingers were very slender and white. With a light flip, she revealed the trump card. However, when she revealed the trump card, Yang Liushi closed her eyes. She didn't dare to look at it. She was afraid that if she revealed a small trump card, it would be completely over. Young man, even if you use a beauty to reveal the trump card, your chances of winning are very low. As soon as Alan finished speaking, his eyes widened. He stared at the trump card in disbelief. Why is it a 10? Alan blinked several times in a row. He finally saw clearly that it was indeed a 10. This time, Alan was dumbfounded. This was $60 million, together with the money he had lost before. He had lost almost $100 million today. Even a rich man couldn't afford such a loss. That's impossible. How could it be a 10? After Yang Liushi revealed her trump card, she closed her eyes. However, when she heard the exclamations around her, she instinctively opened them. That's great, it's actually a 10. We won. Yang Liushi knew the rules of 5-card stud. The pair was bigger than the inferior card. Even if the inferior card was an old ace, the pair was still better than the opponent. Lin Fei had a faint smile on his face. I already said that a beauty's luck is the best. Look, even such a small card can be turned into a 10. It's simply divine. Yang Liushi felt a little embarrassed after hearing this. She looked shy. Sir, I can only say that I was lucky. Yang Liushi also let out a long sigh of relief. She didn't have to be taken away by this Alan. I'm really sorry. I won this round. I didn't think that I would be able to take away so much money after playing a few rounds. Lin Fei chuckled. Beautiful dealer, please help me tidy up these chips and bring the check over. The beautiful dealer was in a daze. Why was the 10 in his hand and not in Alan's hand? However, she didn't dare to say it. She didn't even dare to show the slightest expression. She said, sweetly, sir, please wait a moment. I'll get it done for you right away. Alan's face was cloudy. He couldn't believe that he had lost this round. Furthermore, he was prepared for it. Wait, I suspect that there's a problem with this round, Alan suddenly said coldly. Bookseller's reading website. Chapter 42:15. Of course, Alan wouldn't give up the $60 million in his hands so easily. It was such an injustice to lose. No one knew better than Alan what kind of cards he would have in this game. It was clear that Alan had the last 10 in his hand, but it ended up in the other party's hand. Instead, that guy got a pair and killed his ace of spades. As soon as Alan opened his mouth, the others' faces changed one after another, and then they looked like they suddenly realized something. I knew it. How could this guy be so lucky? It turns out that he cheated. This kid is finished. He could cheat anywhere, but he had to cheat in 1938. I heard that if he cheated in 1938, one of his hands would be cut off. That kid is finished. Yang Liushi, who was standing behind Lin Fei, couldn't help but feel nervous. She opened her mouth and said, It's impossible. There are so many people watching, and there are surveillance cameras. How could we cheat? Yang Liushi was really anxious. Alan said fiercely, Whether it's cheating or not, those technical consultants will know as soon as they come. I don't think anyone's luck can be so good. Lin Fei's face was calm as he looked at Alan and said, Are you sure I cheated? I think you're old and dim-sighted, and your brain is confused. Alan was very angry and said coldly, You said I'm old and dim-sighted, and my brain is confused. Lin Fei looked at Alan with a faint smile. Are you sure you're not old and dim-sighted? I have another thing that everyone is very interested in. Are you sure? You really saw it clearly. For some reason, Alan was suddenly startled by these words and became suspicious. Could it be that this kid saw something? Impossible. No one knows about the relationship between the dealer and me except for me and her. I think you should think about it seriously. Lin Fei looked at Alan with a smile again. I think you should think about it seriously. Alan couldn't figure out what this kid knew for a while. In the end, there was indeed some incredible situation. If it wasn't for his close relationship with the beautiful dealer, Alan would really suspect that the other party was going easy on him. Alan didn't know how long it had been since he last tried such a big bet. Although it wasn't to the extent that their vitality was greatly damaged, it would still make them feel pain for a long time. But now, this kid's words left him scratching his head. Alan wasn't willing to give up $60 million just like that. But if this kid knew something, then Alan would be the unlucky one in the end. Alan was considered the number 1 player in England, but he was still a far cry from 1938. There were all kinds of big shots behind 1938. Any one of them would give him a headache. If all of them were to fight, he would definitely not be able to handle it. He was very clear about this. You're good. I was wrong just now. I'm convinced of this bet. Alan turned around and left after saying that. He didn't say anything else. Those who were prepared to watch the show were all stunned. Since when did this Alan become so good-tempered? He let go just like that. This was somewhat different from his style. Who didn't know that Alan was a narrow-minded person? Those who offended him never had a good ending. Everyone looked at Lin Fei with fear in their eyes. After all, not everyone could make Alan take the initiative to retreat. Alan had actually accepted the $60 million in this round. Once Alan left, There was naturally nothing to see. Everyone at the scene took the initiative to leave. Yang Liushi also let out a long sigh of relief. Thank you, friend. It's all thanks to you. Otherwise, I wouldn't even dare to think about it. Lin Fei smiled. Pretty lady, are you sure that saying thank you is enough? Yang Liushi was cold. What do you mean by that? Panic. She couldn't have just left a wolf's den and entered another one, right? Yeah, what are you trying to do? At this moment, Hunter got up. He was no longer depressed, and he blocked Yang Liushi behind him. Hunter, you're all right. Yang Liushi was pleasantly surprised. I'm fine. Hunter replied, Let's go. Lin Fei smiled at Yang Liushi. Are you sure you want to go? I advise you not to go. I'm afraid that you'll regret it if you leave. Hunter glared at her. Liushi, don't listen to him. If we want to leave, then leave. No one can stop us. Without another word, he pulled Yang Liushi away. Hunter, Yang Liushi was pulled away. She didn't have time to say anything else. Lin Fei didn't stop Yang Liushi from leaving. It's good that she left. Lin Fei watched Yang Liushi leave. Some things have to be seen by Yang Liushi herself. On the other side, Hunter pulled Yang Liushi out of the casino, but Yang Liushi flung his hand away. Hunter, why are you in such a hurry to pull me away? That person is our benefactor. Yang Liushi was angry. She still wanted to know if that person was a friend of her cousin by Shengnan. Hunter said, Liushi, I'm sorry. I was afraid that guy would pester you. If we leave now, that guy won't dare to bring you back. Oh right, Liushi, I have a gift for you. It's to celebrate our first year together. Hearing this, Yang Liushi didn't get angry. At least you have some conscience. I won't come to this kind of place anymore. Hunter said, Okay, I won't come here anymore. I'll listen to you. I'll go drive. Hunter went to drive. Yang Liushi originally wanted to ask Hunter, but when she thought about how romantic Hunter was, the anger in her heart dissipated. A white van drove over. It stopped beside Yang Liushi. Hunter's figure appeared. Get in. Yang Liushi didn't hesitate and got in the van. When she got in the van, she saw that there were a few big white men sitting in the back. Yang Liushi's face changed. I know you. Why are you here? A hand covered Yang Liushi's mouth. Hunter, you. Yang Liushi turned around and saw Hunter. She smiled cruelly. Yang Liushi, you're really stupid. Do you know that in Alan's eyes, you're worth $500,000? Yang Liushi fainted. Let's take her away first. Hunter got out of the van. I'll trick that guy into coming here. Hunter's depressed expression changed. Excitement flashed in his eyes. That guy really thinks he can leave with tens of millions of dollars? He's thinking too much. Lin Fei kept his bank card. He politely declined the escort from the casino security and walked out alone. Sir, it's me, Hunter. Hunter ran over, sweating profusely. What's the matter? Lin Fei asked with a smile. Miss Yang said that it's all thanks to you today. We discussed and wanted to treat you to a meal. Please forgive my rudeness. I hope you can give us a chance. Hunter's face was full of anticipation. Sure. If you don't mind, my car is downstairs, Hunter said. Chapter 42:16. Hunter took the initiative to lead the way. When they reached the bottom of the stairs, he pointed at a van not far away. Friend, my girlfriend, is in the van. Let's go in together. Don't think that this van is a little old. I've modified it, and it's better than you can imagine, Hunter said with a dry smile on his face. Lin Fei laughed. As long as you can sit in a car, it's fine. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad. I don't really care about that. You should be glad that your girlfriend is Chinese. Otherwise, I wouldn't have made a move. Hunter nodded. Thank you, Chinese friend. I know. I'll never come to this casino again. If I ever come here again, I'll be a dog. Hunter ran over and opened the door. He looked very enthusiastic. Lin Fei walked over and sat in the car. The moment he got in, he placed his hands on Lin Fei's shoulders. At the same time, he felt a cold breath on his waist. Chinese friend, I advise you not to mess around. Otherwise, your waist will be pierced by a bullet. You'll die much faster than you think. A rather stiff Huaxia language came from the mouth of a brawny man behind. Hunter was already in the driver's seat. He turned around to look at Lin Fei and chuckled. My friend from China, you'd better be obedient. It'll only be good for you and won't hurt you. Lin Fei looked at Hunter. Hunter, I know you're this kind of person. You better let me go immediately. Otherwise, you'll regret it. Idiot, I advise you to keep your mouth shut. These friends of mine are all hot-tempered. I'm afraid that if you open your mouth again, you might get stabbed. Hunter didn't think much of it. One of the strong men took out a knife and waved it around. Lin Fei looked at the unconscious Yang Liushi beside him. I didn't expect you to do such a thing to your girlfriend. Hunter looked at the unconscious Yang Liushi and said, No matter how good my girlfriend is, it's not as good as money. I'm in a good mood today, so I'll tell you something. My girlfriend is worth $500,000. With that money, I can find pretty girls anywhere. Hunter stepped on the accelerator and drove the car away. From then on, Lin Fei didn't say a word. Instead, he sat quietly as if he had given up all hope. The van drove all the way out. They arrived at the suburbs. However, outside the suburbs, Lin Fei noticed that there were castles in some places outside. There were large castles and small castles. On his way here, Lin Fei had read some information. He remembered that the most famous castle in England should be these castles. They were all left behind in the past and looked very old. No, it should be the medieval feeling. An hour later, a black castle appeared in Lin Fei's vision. The castle was bigger than the ones they had seen along the way. Obviously, such a castle was not cheap. It would cost at least 70 to 80 million pounds, which was more than 100 million yuan. Castles were not like villas. They needed to be taken care of constantly. Just the annual maintenance fee alone would cost millions of pounds. It was not something that ordinary people could afford. The heavy gate of the castle opened. The van drove in. The gate of the castle slowly closed. Immediately, a few strong men dressed in black surrounded them. They all had guns on their waists and were eyeing them like tigers watching their prey. Get out! Lin Fei was pushed out. At this moment, Yang Liushi had also woken up. However, she was still in a state of panic. She was also pushed out by Hunter. Both of you follow me obediently. That way you can suffer less. This is Sir Alan's castle. Since you're here, you have no choice, Hunter said. Yang Liushi looked at Hunter with hatred. Hunter, I really misjudged you. I didn't expect you to be such a person. I really regret it. Yang Liushi was really regretful now. She seemed to have thought through everything that had happened before. Perhaps when he had approached her and saved her, he had probably done it on purpose to win her favor. Hunter smiled. Thank you for your compliment. Actually, I have to thank you more. It's rare to see a beautiful Chinese girl like you. My only regret is that I can't sleep with you. It's a pity, but compared to $500,000, it's nothing. Hunter, you son of a B*T. Yang Liushi's eyes were red. Tears were about to fall from her eyes, but she held them back in the end. The strong man behind her came up. Please come in, the two of you. Yang Liushi looked at Lin Fei with guilt. I'm sorry. It's all my fault. If it wasn't for me, you wouldn't have been captured by them. Lin Fei smiled. Actually, it's not your fault. Who asked me to win $60 million from him? Plus, I have this magical item in my hands. It would be strange if he didn't have any thoughts about it. A tycoon like him can't be compared to an ordinary person. Lin Fei and Yang Liushi were invited to the castle's hall. The main hall of the castle was extremely large and spacious. There was even a hint of a cold and gloomy aura around it. Under the dim light, a middle-aged man sat on the sofa. It was Alan. Alan's face became even paler. "Welcome to my castle. You're my first guests. I've always been very polite to new guests." Alan clapped his hands. Immediately, a maid came over with water. However, this water was different from other water, because it was blood-red in color, and with the glass, it looked even more flirtatious. Alan picked up one of the glasses and smiled. "Do you know what kind of water this is? Look at how beautiful the color is. Blood red. This is the blood that we use to entertain our guests. Moreover, this blood is not ordinary blood. It's human blood. This person can't have any problems. He must be healthy. Only then will the blood have a taste. Just like this, 3 glasses of blood. Each glass is worth a few $100s. After Alan finished speaking, he drank the blood in the glass in one gulp. His entire body revealed a satisfied expression. Yang Liushi, who was standing next to Lin Fei, almost fainted. She couldn't use any strength. Most of her body was leaning on Lin Fei. "Do you know that doing such a thing in front of a girl is very ungentlemanly?" Lin Fei said to Alan. "Gentlemanly? You're mistaken. I'm not a gentlemanly person. On the other hand, you're a young man with a lot of guts. Most people would have panicked when they saw this situation. You're a little different." Alan smiled. "That's good too. When the time comes, it'll be interesting to experience the feeling of fear. Otherwise, it'll be boring." Bookseller's reading website. Chapter 42:17. Alan never intended to let this Chinese kid go easily. Of all people to offend, he chose to offend him. That was $60 million US. Together with that mystical item, it would reach $70 to $80 million US. That was why Alan simply left the casino. After all, he didn't dare to make a scene in 1938. Once this Chinese kid was tricked out, there would be nothing to worry about. In his own castle, what he said counted. No matter how capable this Chinese kid was, he wouldn't be able to escape from the palm of his hand. Everything went according to Alan's plan. He easily caught him. The only thing he was unhappy about was that this kid seemed to be too calm. Alan didn't like this kind of calmness. This thought was quickly suppressed. Alan felt that he had found a very interesting little toy. He hadn't played with such a small toy for a long time. Alan decided that he must slowly deal with this kid. "Guards, take this brat away and lock him in my water dungeon. As for this beautiful Hua Xia girl, send her to my room." Alan laughed. "Oh, right. Take out his bank card and those mystical items, especially that mystical item. Don't break it." There was actually another reason why Alan brought him back, and that was because that strange object was extremely unusual. For someone of his status, it was surprising that such a mystical item would be of some help to him. Alan valued this mystical item more. A few strong men in black surrounded Lin Fei and were about to take him away. Yang Liushi was scared out of her wits. Her body was trembling slightly. "Don't come near me. Don't come near me." Yang Liushi was so scared that she closed her eyes. Tears flowed down her cheeks. If she was given another chance, Yang Liushi would never come to the casino, let alone get to know someone like Hunter. Who would have thought that Hunter, who was so sanctimonious, would want to sell her to Alan behind her back? People who studied abroad were naturally not idiots. Yang Liushi was also one of the smarter ones. It was just that she fell into an endless loop because of love. Now that she had completely figured out everything that had happened before, she hated herself for being blind and causing herself to be like this. Yang Liushi knew very well that those who owned a castle in a place like England were definitely rich bigwigs. Once you entered the castle, you could forget about leaving. When she came here to study, Yang Liushi had more or less heard some negative reports. For example, the owners of the castles basically all had special hobbies. There was a period of time when many people went missing, and it was suspected that it had something to do with the people in these castles. However, a guess was just a guess, because there was no evidence. As for entering the castle to search, that was even more impossible. Yang Liushi only felt that her world had turned black and collapsed. She didn't know what she was going to face next, but it was definitely a nightmare that she would never forget for the rest of her life. "Miss Yang, do you regret it now?" The person who spoke was neither Hunter nor Alan, but Lin Fei, who was standing next to him. "I regret it. I really regret it." Yang Liushi nodded vigorously. "If there's another chance, I'll definitely open my eyes and not be as stupid as I am now." Hunter laughed heartily. "Yang Liushi, you silly woman, don't even think about it. I've seen more than one Chinese woman like you. They're all idiots who are blinded by love. I've earned millions from you Chinese women. Where do you think I get my money from? It's all from you. Now it's time to reap the rewards. Don't worry, it's your fortune to be able to follow Mr. Allen." Yang Liushi glared at Hunter angrily, as if she wanted to cut him into pieces. "Hunter, even if I die and become a ghost, I won't let you off." Hunter laughed. "Yang Liushi, you're really a silly woman. Even if you die and become a ghost, so what? Are you going to come out and bite me?" Lin Fei patted Yang Liushi's shoulder. "Why are you talking about death at such a young age? The beautiful world is still waiting for you." With that pat, Yang Liushi's agitated emotions actually calmed down. It was as if those words were filled with magic. Yang Liushi's emotions had calmed down. Naturally, there was nothing to be afraid of. "Chinese kid, you really talk a lot of nonsense. But don't worry, when we get to the water prison, I'll definitely deal with you slowly. I have a lot of tricks up my sleeves. I guarantee that you'll be satisfied. If 10 isn't enough, then 100 will do." Hunter waved his hand, and the muscular men in black came forward to take her away. "Did I say that you guys could do it?" Lin Fei snorted lightly. Bang, 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 bang. The muscular men suddenly groaned and all fell to the ground. Their faces turned pale, and they immediately fainted. Even Hunter's face turned pale. It was as if he had been hit in the chest by a huge hammer. He sat on the ground paralyzed and wet his pants. A disgusting smell filled the air. What did you do to me?" Hunter could only feel his ears buzzing. He couldn't believe that he was scared by a single sentence. What the hell was going on? On the contrary, Alan revealed an expression of ecstasy after a slight change. "So you're a paranormal. No wonder you're so confident. I'm curious. In my castle, there are only a few people as calm as you." Alan's eyes lit up. Yang Liushi blinked her eyes. She was confused. Her thoughts were all on Hunter. She rushed over and stepped on Hunter's body with her high heels. "Ah!" Hunter screamed miserably. "Yang Liushi, you crazy woman. I'll kill you." This foot directly stepped into Hunter's flesh. The pain made Hunter's face pale, and cold sweat flowed down his face. Yang Liushi swung her hand and slapped Hunter's face. "Even if you kill me, I'll still hit you." Yang Liushi threw caution to the wind. Right now, she didn't care about anything else. She just wanted to teach Hunter a lesson. When Hunter wanted to retaliate, he found that he had no strength left in his hands. He could only watch helplessly as the slap landed on his face. His entire body fell to the ground. One could imagine how angry Yang Liushi was at this moment. "Who told you to lie to me?" She kicked him. "Who told you to coax me? You bastard." She stomped on him again. "I'm really blind." Yang Liushi stepped on Hunter's body again, especially since she was wearing high heels. Every step created a bloody hole. "It hurts so much." "Stop!" Hunter kept screaming in pain. "You're in pain. Don't tell me I'm not in pain. You scum." Yang Liushi used both her hands and feet. "If I'm not wrong, your identity is quite interesting. According to normal people, you can't live for so long. I don't know if I'm right." Lin Fei laughed. "I think it's appropriate to call you a bloodling." Chapter 42:18. You really do have a good eye. You can even see this. Unfortunately, no matter how good your eye is, so what? You're still in my territory. Alan laughed loudly. I'm indeed a bloodling. It's because I'm a bloodling that I have such a long life. I've already lived for 200 years. If I can suck your blood this time, I might be able to increase my lifespan by another 10 years. You're such a good person. Alan smiled and looked at Lin Fei as if Lin Fei was a cornucopia. No, a ginseng fruit. Hee bloodling. But a bloodling like you is really too weak. Alan seemed to have been hit by something. His entire person became ferocious. You dare to say that I'm weak? I'll be the first to suck you clean first. Hua! Alan instantly pounced forward like a ray of light. His eyelids also turned blood red. A few seconds passed in the blink of an eye. This was the fastest speed Alan could produce. Even the king of the 100-meter sprint champion could not reach this level. This is your speed. It's slower than I thought. Alan was already standing where Lin Fei was just now. However, Lin Fei wasn't there. He was 3 meters away and looking at Alan with a smile. Alan's grab actually failed. A trace of disbelief flashed in his eyes. Although he knew that the other party might be a superpower user, superpowers weren't generally strong, especially when a bloodling was close. There was no way to avoid it. But he actually failed to grab. Alan couldn't accept it. You have some tricks up your sleeve. I wonder how long you can last in front of me. Alan pounced forward again. His speed was about 30 to 40% faster than before. A ray of light flew over. You can't escape this time. He tore the space in front of him with both hands. You're still too slow. You're indeed the lowest level of bloodling. You've lived for so long, but your strength hasn't improved at all. You're really too weak. Lin Fei smiled and avoided Alan again. Alan's eyes turned cold. I'll definitely tear you apart. Lin Fei avoided Alan's attacks again and again. When Alan increased his speed, he did not put down the power in his hands. As long as he met him, he would naturally be able to take down the other party. However, under such circumstances, Alan was still unable to catch the other party. He failed every time. He was clearly just a little bit away, but this little bit of distance seemed to have become an uncrossable chasm, and he was unable to catch hold of the other party. Too fast, the opponent's speed is even faster than mine. Is he a speed-type metahuman? Impossible. Alan failed once again. The smiling face of the other party fell into his eyes. Alan could not accept it. It seemed that he was inferior to the other party. Forget it. I'm not playing with you anymore. You're too slow. Lin Fei shook his head and stretched out a hand. In Alan's eyes, this hand was indeed very slow. Not good. However, Alan discovered that he was actually unable to avoid this hand. Pah! The hand turned into a slap and slapped him in the face. Alan, who was moving at high speed, was slapped to the ground, and his whole body came into close contact with the ground. Cracks appeared on the ground, and half of his face was covered in dust and blood. Pain! It still hurts. I was slapped away. Alan's mind went blank. The smell of blood at the tip of his nose told him that he was not dreaming. Look, your speed is still too slow. You can't even avoid this slow slap of mine. I really don't know what gives you the courage to continue living. Alan raised his head, and his whole face turned blood red. He could even hear the trickling sound of blood flowing like a river. Chinese brat, you finally made me famous. I'll let you know how powerful I am now. Alan's whole face changed, especially the 2 sharp fangs on his mouth, making him look much more ferocious. Yang Liushi, who was kicking Hunter nonstop, was also frightened by the sudden scene. What is this? Why does it have 2 fangs? Don't tell me this is a vampire? Yang Liushi finally came back to her senses. Hunter's face was already full of bruises, and his face was pale. His body was also twitching nonstop. After seeing Alan's appearance, he revealed a happy expression. You guys are dead, you guys are dead. This is the Lord's most powerful move. To be able to see the Lord's true body. Even if you guys die, you should be proud. As soon as Hunter's words fell, Yang Liushi stepped on Hunter's thigh again. This time, her high heels directly stepped on the flesh, and Hunter almost fainted from the pain. Even if I die before that, I can still take care of you. Yang Liushi took a deep breath and stepped on him again. Ah! Hunter screamed. Why isn't she afraid? That's the great lord of the blood breed. Why isn't she afraid? Hunter had seen the scene of Lord Alan turning into a blood breed and killing people. It was still fresh in his memory, and he would never forget it for the rest of his life. Even if that brat was a psychic, could he stop Lord Alan's attack? Alan's hands turned into sharp claws, setting off a cold wind. Brat, see my true strength. Hua! Blood afterimage. Dozens of afterimages appeared around Alan's body, and each afterimage seemed to be real. Lin Fei said, "We are all adults, and there should be a limit to boasting. Didn't you just burn your own blood and chi? Do you really think that I don't know?" He actually knows. Alan's heart skipped a beat. I also know that your true body is that. Lin Fei's voice once again entered Alan's ears. Fake, it must be fake. Alan approached Lin Fei. How could he believe the other party's words? A hand stretched out and a slap came. I've been discovered. Alan's eyes widened, and the incoming palm became bigger and bigger. The palm lines were clearly visible. No. Bang! Alan, heavily, smashed onto the ground. Kacha kacha! The ground exploded. The explosion spread out endlessly, and the entire hall rumbled loudly, and dust flew everywhere. How is it? My strength is not bad, right? Do you want another slap? Lin Fei walked over. Alan was lying in a huge pit. He seemed to have aged a lot, and seemed to be in his teens. Don't hit me anymore. Alan waved his hand. I'm sure I don't want it anymore. Lin Fei smiled. Really, I don't want it anymore. Alan panicked, and his eyes were filled with fear. He was a blood breed. His physical body was strong, but in front of this young man, it was like tofu, completely unable to withstand a single blow. If he did it again, Alan definitely wouldn't be able to take it and would be directly beaten to death. Alan was really afraid. Hunter, who originally expected Alan to turn over, was directly dumbfounded and fainted. Bookseller's website. Chapter 4219. At this time, Alan had no choice but to accept it. The guy in front of him was too powerful. Alan knew that he was no match for Lin Fei. After all, he was a master of the blood kindred. He was quite famous in England. However, when he encountered Lin Fei, he could not even put up the slightest resistance. This was the first time he had encountered such a situation. Alan didn't dare to try a second time. It was simply courting death. Outside the castle, none of Alan's men dared to rush in. They were all informed that no matter what happened, they were not allowed to come in. Alan was still lying on the ground, and blood kept flowing out. A hand reached in, lifted Alan out, and threw him on the ground like a dead dog. I told you, you Blood Clan members are too weak. No matter how many Blood Clan members like you come, I'll take care of them all. Yet you won't listen to me. Lin Fei sat there with a saber in his hand. Alan was lying on the ground, and he didn't know how much blood he had lost. To the blood kindred, there was no difference between blood and life. Senior, you're right. I'm indeed the weakest among the blood kindred. I don't even have a title, Alan said weakly. Actually, Lin Fei didn't need Alan to say it. He knew that Alan was indeed very weak. He couldn't even reach the innate stage. Since you don't even have this bit of strength, how dare you attack us Chinese? I don't know who gave you the courage. Swoosh! A sword chi flew over and slashed Alan's body, leaving behind a huge wound. Who knew how much blood flowed down? Senior, please spare my life. I have eyes but can't see. Please spare my life. Alan also began to beg for mercy. If he was really killed, there would be no place to say it. The person in front of him was too strong. Alan couldn't fight against him. Now you know how to beg for mercy. Who are I going to settle the score with for my dead Chinese girls? Lin Fei snorted coldly. A sword energy directly cut off one of Alan's arms. I hate people like you the most. Even if you're a blood kindred, it's just a matter of a sword in my eyes. Alan's entire body was trembling. Senior, please spare my life. I didn't do it because I wanted to. I was forced to do it. Alan's eyes were already filled with fear. He was afraid that if he did not explain, the saber would cut his body and kill him. He absolutely did not want to experience this again. There will be people like you who are forced into a corner. Lin Fei chuckled. Do you think I'm as gullible as a 3-year-old? Another streak of sword light slashed over. The sword light grew bigger and sharper in Alan's eyes. Spare my life. I really didn't want to kill that Chinese girl. This is a mission from Dark Church. I have no way to refuse. Alan couldn't care less now. Even if he exposed a big secret, he still had to speak. If he didn't, he would be completely finished. Dark Church. Your Western world still has this organization. The sword light that was originally slashing towards Alan suddenly dispersed and disappeared without a trace. This scene caused Alan's heart to shake even more. Such controllability, even in the Dark Church, it was estimated that not many people could control it. Alan felt that he had walked under the sword, and he was almost cut into 2 pieces. Afraid, completely afraid. Dark Church is the biggest organization in our Western world. Here, not only are vampires, there are also werewolves and vampires, forming a huge force to fight against the Light Church of the Western world. Alan was afraid that he didn't have time to speak, so he promptly said, Dark Church will issue a mission every once in a while, making us collect specific things, but I don't really want to deal with the Chinese girl in the distant east. It's just that the higher-ups have a request. If I don't complete the mission, the unlucky one will be me. For example, this time it's also a mission issued by the higher-ups. I'm just following orders, that's all. Lin Fei's complexion slightly changed. He raised his hand and pointed at the space between Alan's eyebrows. Alan's whole body trembled, and he spat out blood. Alan powerlessly lied on the ground. Compared to before, he looked like he was on the verge of death. It seemed as if he would die at any time. You were indeed forced to do this, but since you attacked a Chinese girl, you have to pay the price. Since I, Lin Fei, have encountered you, I won't let it go so easily. You can only say that you are unlucky. Of all the people you can deal with, you just had to find a Chinese girl. Lin Fei's eyes were ice cold. A sword light shot out from his finger and slashed at Alan's neck. Alan was still that Alan, but this sword directly cut off all of his aura. The last bit of light in his eyes completely disappeared. Dead. Lord Alan is actually dead. Hunter, who had been holding his head and curling up, had goosebumps all over his body. He didn't know where his strength came from, but he took advantage of the situation to roll, crawled up, and rushed out of the gate. Hunter knew that as long as he rushed outside, Alan's subordinates would definitely attack him. Maybe he would still have a chance to live, otherwise, he would definitely die this time. Even an expert like Lord Alan died just like that. If it were him, it would definitely be the same. Go all out Hunter wouldn't be able to go all out Ah. Then he would really die. When he was only 2 or 3 meters away from the gate, Hunter didn't forget to turn around and said, You dare to kill Lord Alan. You're dead. No one can save you. As soon as his voice fell, a dazzling light exploded in Hunter's eyes. Hunter, who was running, fell to the ground with a plop. His eyes were wide open. He couldn't believe that he was dead just like that. Everything happened too quickly. Yang Liushi stared at the scene in front of her blankly. This was the first time she saw a dead person, and it was Hunter who died. Mister, hurry up and leave. You killed Hunter. The people outside will definitely know. If they call the police, you won't be able to leave. Yang Liushi suddenly clenched her teeth, turned around, and was about to push Lin Fei away. Lin Fei saw Yang Liushi's action and laughed. "What a silly girl! No wonder your cousin is so worried about you." Yang Liushi looked at Lin Fei. "You really know my cousin?" Although Yang Liushi had an idea, she had never confirmed it. Now that she could finally confirm it, she couldn't help but heave a sigh of relief. If your cousin knew that you've made such a mess here, she would definitely be very angry. Of all the things you could learn, you just had to learn from others to come to the casino. You don't even know that you've been fished. Lin Fei said. Yang Liushi lowered her head. "I was wrong. Invincible king of leveling, invincible king of leveling."